back again. We couldn't let it be too long. This is your man, Big James. The youth from outer space. Here I am. You can hear me. I'm coming through crispy. I love it. It's good to be here. Like I said, make sure you like, share, subscribe, show some love, spread the word, get the word out there. There's a guy doing a podcast from Planet Mars. Hey, yo, chill. Thank you for getting in here ahead of time and just boosting the algorithm just a tad bit. With that comment there, brother. I appreciate you. Anybody else that's tuning in, don't be shy. Hop in the comments. Let's chop it up. Let's have a conversation tonight. You already know what we got to get into. The whole Putin and Trump situation. Is Putin playing Trump like a fiddle? Is Trump truly playing 4D chess? And has he just got Putin wrapped around his fingers? I got a video or two to play about that, and we'll talk about it. Ghislaine Maxwell, she's she's clearing Trump's name. Believe it or not, that's all you need. You just need to be president. You need to be able to offer somebody the opportunity to get out of prison, and then they will clear your name, believe it or not. So we'll go ahead and get into that. We got to, and then you already know, if you've been watching us for long enough, you know that I am a podcast based in Florida. I live here in the beautiful Sunshine State. DeSantis, or the article I was reading before I went live, said it was Trump, but maybe it was a tandem of the two. Maybe there was a decision that came to the conclusion together that you need to paint over that fucking rainbow sidewalk that's there to commemorate the deaths of all those people that were at the Pulse nightclub. Do I agree with that? I'll let you guess. Probably not, but we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. I have some videos to react to. It's just going to be a good stream, good vibes. We'll see what all else we have planned. Like I said, I definitely have some videos to react to. I have some fun, just kind of random stuff that I found on the internet that I thought I might want to bring to the audience here. And then, like I said, we have things that are associated with, we're going to read a little bit about the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff, by the way. The transcripts actually got released. So that was some of what I was doing while I was sitting here getting the stream ready, was glancing through those, seeing what she was talking about there in context. And then, like I said, I have a video as far as the some of the recordings from the session. The session where they looked at her and said, you know what the fucking script reads, right? Look me in my eyes and blink 3 times if you know how to read. Say it loudly into the microphone. And then, hell yeah, I'll read that shit off. I'd read that shit off if I was in her position as well. They do cast some doubt on whether or not Epstein was, by his own means, or if there's something to the whole, missing time in the video footage. So, we have a lot to consider. Sandor, my brother, what's going on? My guy, glad to see you. I was actually going to come check on you if I didn't see you tonight. I already had it in my mind. If we didn't hear from Sandor today, I was going to have to come check on him, make sure everything was good. But I figured you were just busy. Last night we talked about the Israeli guy that got caught up in the sting. It's still early in the podcast, so I'm trying to avoid trigger language that AI doesn't like. So, but the guy that got caught up in that sting about that stuff having to do with children in Las Vegas. We talked about that last night. Pretty crazy stuff. I really wanted to hear your opinion on that, to be honest. And then I had some wrestling videos I actually saved just in case. Actually, you and Yo Chill, you guys are two of the guys that I have that watch this channel that actually give a shit about wrestling. So, all good, brother. All good. I understand it. You got a life. You got things you got to do. So I totally get it. I had Wiggy in here. He was going crazy, and we were just wondering where you're at, brother. That's it. You're an integral part of the community. So when you're not here, you're missed. Nothing too crazy though. We didn't have it last night. There was barely anybody in here, to be honest. It was me, Wiggy, Yo Chill hopped in here a bit. We had a few other people kind of sparingly hop in. But we really didn't get any traffic last night. Now I will say, I'm a little bit of a scientist when it comes to the titles. So I did go ahead and I left Israeli in there, and I left wait for that 5 minutes to hit pedo. I left that in the title. So I knew it was gonna be an uphill battle, but Didn't expect for it to be a fucking 2-hour long uphill battle, whereas just me and my brother Wiggy in here just kicking it. But Wiggy did say he wanted to come on here and do like a history show. So I was like, I'll be here for the questions, my brother. That's I can offer you that. Thanks, bro. You guys are the shit too. Hey, brother, right back at you, man. Like I said, definitely we miss you when you're not here, but I understand sometimes you got to lock down with the family or do whatever you need to do. So I respect it. Let's see. What do we want to talk about while we're waiting on people to get in here? I think I'll play this. I have one longer video. It's the Piers Morgan that I hadn't gotten to react to for the last couple streams because just having people on and getting into other conversations. So this will be a good kind of icebreaker to start out the podcast here, the live stream. Make sure you like it. If you're hopping in here early, make sure you like it so we can reach a broader audience there. And also, hit the share button and then click copy link, even if you have nobody to send it to, which I know you do. Everybody's got one freak to send it to, and that's who I'm looking for. Send it to them and get them up in here, and we can chop it up. But this right here is Piers Morgan. They have a few other internet personalities, internet debaters. Andrew Wilson. I didn't watch the entire video, so just the very beginning, but I know that they're kind of talking about how Christianity is treated in America, I assume specifically, but I know specifically they're talking about, what was it? The Jesus Christ Superstar performance where you have the lady from Wicked and she's playing Jesus Christ. So let me know how you feel about that. I need Wiggy's opinion on that 100%. But they went ahead and they recasted Jesus as a lesbian black woman. We all saw it coming. We knew it was just a matter of time. So let's go ahead and get into that without any further ado. I don't know who's arguing on the other side of Andrew Wilson, but assuredly they'll have somebody on there in favor of the opposite side. So let's get it.
Theology, if you're a Catholic, sir, they're going after your theology on the public stage. What is wrong with you? You're not a Catholic. You're a pretender.
What is wrong with you?
Give me a break.
What is wrong with you that your faith is so weak?
I mean, they could at least put a wig on her.
Ernest, I saw you perform one of the great eye rolls in Uncensored History just then.
Adam Sandler. Look at that. There's a movie star. You grossed over $4 billion.
I didn't know that. I'll take it.
$4 billion.
He went from being the anti-establishment guy, the voice of the working man, the voice of the so-called little people, and he went full Hollywood.
I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement.
Talk about dancing on the graves of the dead. That's sick.
Christianity, Sandor said Christianity has got it pretty good. Do you mean they have it good generally, like it's well respected, or however we would be saying that, or do you mean as far as like people give it to them good, as far as like they tease them?
The reason it was uncomfortable to you, Pierce, is because it was sick.
Oh, look out. Something just came onto the floor.
Final word to you on dildos in the WNBA. Words I didn't think I'd have to use, but there we are. For many years now, we've been told that theatrical roles should only be awarded to actors of the corresponding gender, race, or ethnicity. The strict moral code applied only to the oppressed minorities, which is why there are phrases like yellow face, Jew face, and trans face for describing roles usurped by boring Caucasians. But what about the role of Jesus Christ?
You gotta respect Pierce for coming in so fucking hot there. Me pussyfooting around, talking about give me 5 minutes before I start using harsh language. Pierce comes in, yellow face, Jew face, black face.
A celibate Jewish man with Middle Eastern skin tone. That's been awarded to Cynthia Erivo, a bisexual British black lady who's playing the Messiah in a new production of Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood
Jesus
Bowl.
wasn't British.
Well, the reviews have been mixed. A gushing write-up in the LA Times spoke of a magnetic, heaven-sent performance that established God the Savior as a queer black woman, as many of us suspected might be the case all along.
Pierce is about to get struck down just fucking reading this sacrilegious shit. He's fucking choking up on his words. In a very broad sense of the meaning that Christianity is doing okay, all things considered. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. 100%. I mean, like at the end of the day, I don't think Christianity is at any kind of like moment where people, at least in the Western world, are, have to be in fear of practicing their religion or outwardly claiming it. Like, that's just not where we're at with Christianity. And I guess that's some of the kind of like funny dialogue around this, pearl clutching when it has to do with shit like this. To be honest, I'm a little bit of an artsy fartsy guy. I like plays and shit. I don't really give that much of a fuck if you recast Jesus as somebody who doesn't look like what we believe historical Jesus to look like. And even the depictions of Jesus has consistently been altered based off whatever kind of community it is that's worshiping. You can go see churches in Asia where you got a Chinese Jesus and shit. So I just don't really see that as just that big of a deal. I could see people feeling a little uncomfortable with the idea that this recasting is done like in poor taste and done intentionally to offend people. But I mean, I don't know if you could come to that conclusion. I mean, are you just saying out and right you can't ever recast somebody that isn't like? And Jesus is such a unique one, because it's like to say like he's consistently throughout history been depicted in different ways based off the culture. And this isn't even like something where the people that are put on this showing, they're not, as far as I know, they're not putting this fucking lady forth and being like, you know what, finally we're going to bring it back to the roots, what Jesus actually looked like. It's just like this is a artistic rendition of this stage play. So
Ben Shapiro, however, called it emblematic of a feeling that the left is trying to dissolve the culture of the United States and a culture division between the Sydney Sweeney Americans and the Cynthia Erivo Americans. So which one is it? Well, here to debate all this and lots more from the world of pop culture, the host of The Crucible, Andrew Wilson, uncensored contributor Esther Krakow, the white dude for Harris and host of Endless Urgency, Mike Nellis, and our very own Cynthia.
White dudes for Harris, that's an immediate dunk. You can't even, you got to leave the argument. Now you lost once you get put in the white dudes for Harris camp. I like to do that to Paul a lot. Like, it immediately puts him in the fucking box. He just like, well, shit.
Ernest Owens, author of The Case for Cancel Culture. You'll be amused to know, Ernest, I think. Welcome back to Uncensored. Always great to have you. But on the panel notes I was given by my team, says Andrew Wilson, right. Esther Krakow, leaning right. Mike Nellis, left. Ernest Owens, off the charts woke.
Wow.
Wow, they disrespected him.
That just made me laugh. I shouldn't probably have read that out, but it was very funny. Anyway, that's how you're all seen. That's how you're all seen, and it made me chuckle. Let's start with you, Andrew Wilson. So, from a musical perspective, I've read a lot of reviews this morning about this. Full disclosure, I'm good friends with Andrew Lloyd Webber. I think he's a complete genius. Jesus Christ Superstar, when it came out in the 70s, was deliberately designed to be very provocative, as we know, but it's never been as provocative as this performance. What is your response to it? I mean, from a musical perspective, it's been heralded as a great triumph, but obviously many feel it's crossed a line. What do you think?
Oh, it's been heralded as a great triumph, has it? When are they going to do Muhammad on ice? So what they do is they're banking on the fact that there is Christian pacifism and that we won't give the sorts of violent pushback that they would get if they were mocking other religions. So they kind of bank on that. What this is homosexual infiltration, once again, of the church. This is what they do. This is all they do. This is a GLAAD award, Nosferatu-looking chick. And here's what they did. They didn't just get everything wrong. They didn't even include the resurrection, any of the Christian themes. The whole thing is a total mockery. And who cares if a bunch of liberal, a bunch of liberals write up, oh, this was great. This was a musical masterpiece. Of course they're going to say that. That's what they do. That's how propaganda works. This entire thing was designed to attack Christianity, and it's always that way. That's the way it always is.
Ernest, I saw you perform one of the great eye rolls in Uncensored history just then, but I do think Andrew has a point. There's absolutely zero chance that Hollywood would have staged a musical like this which openly mocked the tenets of Islam, for example.
I think that Jesus Christ Superstar, in its creation, the whole title, if you ever seen it, have you actually seen it, Andrew? Like, if you actually seen it, everything that you're saying would actually be argued that it's already been done. Like no children.
Real quick, just to say this was funny. Jesus belonged. This part was just facts, not funny, by the way. Jesus belongs to the people. Let them be any sort of helicopter they want. And then Sandor says homosexuality infiltrated the church a while ago, which that is facts. My thing is, I don't have an issue if you think it's in poor taste or you think it's like just kind of classless to do this or whatever. Like, have your own opinion 100%. But I'm wondering if Andrew, which I guess is going to be the representative of the furthest right of this group, are you going to actually argue that this kind of like language or this kind of expression shouldn't be allowed? Like, even if it is provocative, I mean, I would still argue in the defense of it and that it should be able to exist. I mean, people that are opposed to religion, even if that's the case, they should be able to make whatever art they want that, depicts that. And as far as like any kind of like, when are they going to do Muhammad on Ice? Like any kind of, fainting towards that intolerance, I would say like that's not where we wish to be in this country, as far as like the comparison that he's making there, basically essentially saying like, well, nobody could do this to the Islamic prophet. So, that's not how we want to be represented as a country. That's not the kind of culture that we want to put forth, where we're afraid to talk or like push the edge of conversation when it comes to people's deities or whatever. So it's really a sign of tolerance that it's allowed to exist. Although I guess maybe the argument would be had that, the whole like being tolerant of intolerant people or whatever the fuck kind of thing I'm imagining. Andrew is a self-ordained warrior of God and first protector. Yeah, self-ordained for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I get people being offended. And I guess Andrew, I haven't seen much of his content, but if he self-proclaims himself a warrior of God, I'm sure he would. And I guess most people who are devoutly religious would put their loyalty to that religious belief before their loyalty to country or like ideas of said country. So I don't even know. I guess I would ask somebody that's religious, and if there's anybody watching that's particularly religious, you can leave in the comments or whatever. But would it even be consistent with Christianity to kill somebody for having some kind of like ill word about God or whatever? So
are watching this to learn about Christ. The type of people that you're thinking of that would be offended by this would probably not even spend the kind of money to watch this show live, and would not have any interest to watch it just because they know that it is an adult-themed musical.
Hilarious. It's for rich. It's for rich Satanists. This show is for rich Satanists only, which I mean appears to be basically, a good portion of our rich people in this country, so I guess it makes sense. But at the end of the day, this guy's saying it's for rich Satanists only. If you're a fucking religious hillbilly, this show's not for you anyways. Sit at home and bitch about it. Sneak, shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in, my brother. Says they hate Jesus though. I don't know who they specifically is in that scenario, but there are people who hate Jesus or don't agree or think that it's a negative in the world as far as like Christianity or religion in general. Those people should be able to represent their views in America, and it based off my own personal upbringing and belief, I would say that should extend everywhere, but here specifically, it's one of the main tenets that we build our American identity off of. So of course these people should be able to have if people will show up, that's capitalism, baby. If people are buying the fucking tickets, then they can keep having the shows because they can pay the fucking rent. They pay the lease on the goddamn building, or whatever, pay for their time to be there. I don't know how it works exactly. It'll have a message. Words can't hurt you. Yeah, fair enough. Good point. I do think that, like, yeah, as far as like these people kind of representing this opposite worldview, write a fucking religious screenplay or stage play and put that up. I would equally defend the right for that being able to exist. So it's just like when people start to try to infringe on things that are just whether they be outright adversarial to someone's beliefs or just, not aligned with them. It's like, just let it be. Like I said, if this isn't popular, if this doesn't speak to a good portion of theater goers, then it'll be out and they'll replace it with fucking Lion King next week. It'll be frozen on ice like fucking Andrew wants.
That is meant to be provocative since it was in its inception for decades.
It's meant to mock Christianity, right?
I mean, you can say that. I find it to be satirical.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's meant to mock Christianity. Just be honest about it. Just be honest and say, Andrew, it's meant to mock Christianity. It's not for you Christians to watch. We're mocking you. That's what we're doing. That's what the point is.
Well, I mean, if you have a taste of satire and humor, you can appreciate that as a Christian. I think a lot of people.
He wants to live in a society where like obscenity and things like that, people are being jailed for some shit. I personally think that this guy should basically concede this point to him. And, I think you could fight on those grounds.
Cynthia Erivo, she sings gospel phenomenally well. She's an incredible singer. And she's done several different types of shows, and she has a range of that. And so for anybody who wants to take this seriously, make a culture war out of it, I mean, is this the case for cancel culture part two?
I don't think the argument here is that Christians are allergic to humor. I think the argument here is that it's clear that you would never do this with the Dalai Lama, for example, or with Muhammad and the Islamic religion. And so I think that's where people take issue with it. And actually, the original Jesus Christ Superstar was quite consistent with what happened in the Bible in terms of the theology behind it. This is just basically a bold black. I mean, they could have at least put a wig on her. It's so weird seeing her have the crown of thorns on her head, and it's just basically this bold, shiny head.
Put her in whiteface.
They're clearly taking the mickey out of what actually happened. And on the point about the homosexual infiltration, I'm sorry, I think the Catholic priests beat this play there a few decades ago on that front.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Damn, Sandor, she came through with your joke, brother. Fucking with a scathing fucking.
They beat it like the public schools, beat it, who have 10 or hundreds of times the rate of.
Is this lady a public school teacher?
Sexual molestation of children. So when you talk about predators, for instance, guess what? Predators go where their children are. This is no exception for secular institutions like public schools. So I don't know why you people use this as a talking point. It's a terrible one.
Because the church fucking moves them around and hides them. Discourages people from coming forth about their whatever the accusation is. So completely not actually delving into the meat of the accusation or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I mean, it wasn't even necessarily an outright accusation. It's just a statement of fucking fact. When that happens in a school, more times than not, although you could point to anomalies, but more times than not, you could say, it gets addressed if it gets brought to the attention of, we see all the time fucking female school teachers getting arrested for fucking one of their students here in America. I don't know how that is, how common that is across the globe. But here it's a fucking epidemic of hot ass teachers trying to fuck students. So to Andrew's point, when you make that kind of like base, it's really just a fucking surface level comparison that you're making. And it's like, bro, it's a difference between an institution that actively is, protecting the people involved in these crimes. And then moving them around in places where they can take advantage of more vulnerable people, putting them in, not even taking them out of fucking rotation. Like, shit. Sandor says nobody has opened with a prayer or prayed for anybody's souls. That's more offensive than the program. Well, I mean, hey, and that's a good point. Andrew should have fucking stopped it right off the bat if he was a real Christian and said, before we get going, let's just say a word about Jesus Christ.
It is true.
All right, Mike Nellis. Let me bring in Mike Nellis. I would say this, as a Christian, I'm a Catholic, right? I do think one of the best things about my religion is that we can laugh at ourselves. Right? We can self-lampoon. I often laugh at some of the absurdities of my own church, for example. And the fact that Christians have a better tolerance level for mockery than other religions is something to be proud of, isn't it?
Well, I think all the comparisons to Islam are really silly stuff. And I'm going to say this as a practicing Catholic. If your faith is so fragile that you're offended about a black woman playing Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ Superstar, you've got bigger problems than whatever's going on in the culture war. Second, we've heard a lot of, frankly, some really weird comments about like homosexual infiltration of American society. Like Andrew over there is complaining about people preying on children. I haven't seen Andrew say anything about Donald Trump being in the Epstein files or releasing the Epstein files on here. So I don't really think that's
just a red herring. It's a little red herring. Why do you want these people to just?
That is a little crazy, even though it's obviously extremely relevant. And I don't know how much Andrew has criticized the Trump administration through this entire thing. Probably not at all. But I mean, it is kind of like you want him to open up a conversation about this specific thing and turn it into the Trump Epstein files. Kind of fucking retarded.
Destroy your theology if you're a Catholic, sir. They're going after your theology on the public stage. They're taking out the resurrection, a romantic relationship between Jesus and Mary. What is wrong with you? You're not a Catholic. You're a pretender.
What is wrong with you?
Give me a break.
What is wrong with you that your faith is so weak that a play in Hollywood that's going to be shown?
You are commanded to defend your faith, sir, as a Catholic.
I'm defending my faith right now. My faith is how
you're going to defend it by rolling over and letting them kick you while you're down, huh? That's you defending the faith of Christ?
My faith is in practice. And my faith is not going online and complaining about musicals and making
You're online complaining right now. And the thing is,
he's complaining about complainers. Hey, I mean, all I'm saying is don't shit on the game. If you're going to be involved in it, like myself here, you can't turn around and just shit on it. Like, come on, he's the side of the complainers, and you're on the side of the complaining about the complainers.
No, I'm actually not complaining about it right now.
How dare Christians be offended? What's wrong with you? You're a Catholic.
Andrew.
You're supposed to defend the faith. Defend it.
No, Yocho, thank you for popping in here, my brother, by the way. No, I don't normally watch it. I said that a little bit earlier. I've seen a few of his stuff. I haven't seen him on the whatever podcast. That's where I saw him debating the OnlyFans girls. I'm just not interested in that kind of conversation. But I have seen some of his other debates on like religion and stuff like that. So I don't regularly watch him, but I know a little bit about his perspective and view. And I also have seen him on here before. Andrew wants to put on a full set of armor and charge in. I say fucking let him do it. Let him charge in, and him versus 100 gays. We'll see how it ends up working out for him.
I'll defend my faith.
Oh, but Andrew, let me jump in. Andrew, did you? Hang on, Mike. I'll come back to you. But just Life of Brian, Andrew, Monty Python. Did you find that funny? Today's show is brought to you by Oxford Natural, makers of the Optimum Day and Optimum Night.
Motherfucker has extra ads. You can't get away from them.
And don't just to watch their full stories.
Funny. That's
find out more. Scan
the mockery which was in there. Yeah, I think some parts of it were sure.
Okay, so why is
but
that
I can tell you this:
acceptable
Monty
when it
Python
contains-
would also they would have gone after Islam, and they would have had fun doing it. They didn't care. They were like South Park. They go after everybody. This is different. This is distinctly designed. This is distinctly designed to only mock Christianity at the expense of everything else, because that's what these people do. They only care about attacking Christianity. That's all they do. Where's Islam on ice then? Tell me where it is. Oh, these performers, they're so great. They're just making a mockery of a religion. Where is it?
There's just more of an appetite for this in America because it's a country that's pretty much dominated by Christianity as its main religion. And like that feeds into the entire culture of America. So it's like, of course, that's where people find the most interesting kind of like social commentary in America. It comes from these kind of stories. There's less of a interest in having some kind of like and less of a need because it's less pervasive in our society when you're talking about like Islam. Like it just that hasn't been that influential in our society. So there's less media and things like that to kind of lampoon it. Aside from the threat factor, which I understand the point he's making, but I don't even know how much that is really informing people's decisions. I know obviously there's several instances of people who have been killed for mocking Muhammad in some kind of media, but I mean also I've seen a shit ton of media where people have mocked the religion of Islam. And Mia Khalifa is still alive to this day. And she was letting people bust nuts on her hijab, for God's sake. Explain that. I'm sure it exists out there, but I mean, I haven't seen any videos of any. Okay, well, I take that back. I was going to say I haven't seen any videos of anybody busting any nuts on any crosses, but although I don't recall that, we've seen a few nun videos, and there might have been some crosses involved in that. I'm not sure. But the thing is, look, it might not be even-handed, but at the same time, we have to consider that our culture is not evenly influenced by these different religions and things like that. So.
No, just hold on.
Let Mike respond, then I'll come to you, Esther. Mike?
I can't get over this. There's nothing about this that's a mockery of Christianity anymore. And by the way, the same people who are complaining about this now were complaining when John Legend played the lead in Jesus Christ Superstar about 10 years ago live on it. I believe he won his performance, by the way. Like, have a little bit of trust and confidence in your faith and your religion, and maybe pick up the Bible or go help somebody else.
I'm sorry, that's completely disingenuous.
Entire talking points.
That's a disingeneous point. No one here is offended. I'm certainly not offended. Let
Esther respond.
What is being highlighted here is the double standards, and to say that it's Christians being thin-skinned or they can't accept it. That's not the case. I'm certainly not offended, but there is clearly a double standard here. You can make these sorts of musicals, but there's never going to be, like Andrew said, a Muhammad on Ice. And you know why? Because there is an issue when it comes to free speech of all religions and mocking all religions. There have been teachers in Paris, or north of Paris, that have been beheaded for making comments about Islam that are not even offensive in the grand scheme of things, but they have been literally either hounded out of their jobs in Britain here or beheaded in parts of France. So this idea that there is no double standard.
Also, by the way, though, not that people should be beheaded and shit, because she just kind of like stuck people that got beheaded and people that got, did she say fired from their job? I mean, I'm going to be honest, a teacher, somebody who is a school teacher, I don't really want it. That's different than somebody who is a artist. Somebody who's an artist poking fun at Christianity, in this case is the example we're using. That is a completely different context than like a teacher who is standing in front of her class after, having them read fucking Catcher in the Rye. And next thing you know, you fucking, she's like, you know what? Christianity fucking sucks ass. And anybody in here that comes from a Christian family, you guys are fucking idiots. You understand, like, the context is completely different. So it's like somebody that is putting on a stage play, and then the theme around it is to satire whatever specific religion. Yeah, I think that has a completely different kind of energy behind it. And honestly, I mean, I wouldn't have the same expectation for a teacher who was just having these conversations on their own personal time. But obviously, we do have an expectation that teachers aren't going to be like spew in this. And we apply this on other things. We all, I think, agree with this standard when we apply it to like things that we disagree with. So if you think that the teacher should be able to whether push Christianity or knock it while they're in the classroom, then, how do you feel about a teacher that's pushing like LGBT shit or something like that? Like, so obviously the consistent, we have to kind of apply it consistently across the board, I think. And then Yocho says, how are they gonna worship Muhammad but make no profits? Explain that. That's a bar, brother. That's a bar. But I don't know if that was even meant to be a bar, though. Maybe you just meant that legitimately as a joke, as a kind of question. So I'll also engage with it as nice bar, but then also I'll engage with it as a genuine question. So how are they gonna worship Muhammad but make no profits? Yeah, no, I'm gonna just say that's a bar. Charlie Hebdo. Like I said, people have. I don't remember who the guy was that made the he made like a movie that was critical of Islam back in the day. I think it was called Submit, and it had a woman in it who she had like a bunch of writing all over her body, and just was like beaten by her husband. And I never watched the film myself, but I remember reading about this story, and the guy ended up getting killed in London, I believe, decapitated on the streets. That's how it went.
Standard, or that you can mock all religions equally. I'm waiting to see the Dalai Lama on ice, and then
would you guys support
Okay.
Would you guys support Judaism on ice? I'm asking you specifically, would you support a Jewish musical which bastardized the Jewish religion on ice, where they all dressed up like rabbis and skated around and were mocking Judaism? Would the two of you support that? Yes or no?
Would I support it?
Funny? I don't care. Are you going to?
Yeah, would I support it? Would I support it? Holy shit, I'm there, brother. Opening night. I'm there. Let's make that happen. You just had a fucking brilliant idea. This is the thing that I think is kind of being, for some reason, this just isn't coming up in the conversation. There's more people that are going to want to see Christianity in America. They're going to want to see that get satired or whatever. They're going to have some kind of like cultural context for what they're seeing. If you went and you did a satire of the Dalai Lama, there's going to be a lot of motherfuckers in America who are like, why do I give a fuck about that? And then they're going to show up to the show and they're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? At least with the crucifixion, there's the audience is there. Everybody in the audience knows what they're seeing in America. And across the globe, Christianity is the shit like that. But like, honestly, the legends and things like that of the Quran and, these other holy books, it just doesn't have the same weight here. You're just not, once again, a little bit of it is capitalism. I think there is a legitimate argument to be made based off, them talking about, like, basically they're trying to insinuate like, hey, people are too afraid to talk about these religions. But I just don't think generally, like, we know there's crazy motherfuckers out there. Do we honestly think that there's no crazy ass director, no crazy ass screenplay writer or whatever that would not put pen to paper to satire these religions if there was genuinely, like, a desire for that? I would say, I venture to say that I do think there's some crazy motherfuckers that would do that, and produce that stage play or whatever.
So make it, like, if you're worried that go make it yourself. Like, stop whining about it.
So here's what's weird here.
Don't all talk at once. Okay, listen. Okay, hang on, Ernest. I want to change topic. We've got a few things to get through. I want to bring in the Sydney Sweeney thing. Ernest, what is your view of this furore over the Good Genes ad? Let's have a look at it first and then respond.
My jeans are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has her jeans.
Just a Republican? Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans.
No, you can't fuck her, Donald Trump. Sorry.
Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that.
Well, if
Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic.
So, Ernest, that was Trump responding to it. Obviously, his view was determined by whether
Trump's a sick boy. That's all I know.
Supported him or not. But were you genuinely offended by the Good Genes ad?
I wasn't offended. I just thought it was tacky. And I think what's funny here is that it's become politicized.
Why? Tacky? Why?
I thought it was tacky.
Why
because
was it tacky?
The pun.
Explain to us why jeans are tacky, by the way. I mean, not jeans. Explain to me why commercials. Isn't 98% of the commercials you see on TV fucking tacky? Isn't that almost like just the nature of commercials? They're selling you a product in between shit you actually want to watch. Like, it's all tacky. The point of a commercial is to be fucking corny or tacky or cringe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Actually talk about the substance of it. Do you have an issue with the substance on it, retard? You know that's what we're asking. Come on.
On it was tacky. The jeans, I just thought they knew what they were doing when they did the ad. It's doing exactly what you all want to do, which is to make it this major culture war. Now,
I'm sorry, but this triggers me. These motherfuckers coming at this beautiful white lady, it does trigger me a little bit. Makes me a little fucking hot. Yes, it's a fucking double entendre happening there. Yes, Gap or whoever the fuck that is, I don't even remember who it was, American Eagle. Yes, they're giving you a fucking bar. When they say great jeans, yes, they're talking about the fucking jeans they're trying to sell you, you fucktard. Not you, probably, even though he does look like he probably would wear American Eagle. Let's just keep it real. No offense. They probably are kind of trying to sell him jeans a little bit. But yeah, the point being is yes, genes, yes, talking about, a person's genes. It doesn't have to go further than that though. It's still, they're just saying like, hey, nice genes. This lady's hot as fuck. She has giant tits. She looks like somebody you would want to have a child with and could bear said child and bring it to life. She has great genes. It's not saying anything about anybody else's fucking genes. And this fucking retard to the right, obviously, no, you don't have good genes, but it's not about you. And it's not necessarily about people that share your race or anything like that. It's just not a bigger conversation than that, in my opinion. I don't think American Eagle's thinking that deep. They're just like, look at this fucking blonde lady with fucking giant tits. And yes, she has blue eyes. And yes, Hitler would have said she was the master race. Okay, whatever. That's not what we're saying. Race hunters are turbo race hustlers. I said race hunters. I need to get new glasses. It's really fucking bad. I'll be honest. You can't tell when I'm in this little box, but the whole time I'm sitting here trying to squint and read this shit. No, 100%, bro. And like, thing is, I actually don't mind people who are extremely conscious about race. And I think that there are times when it is absolutely relevant. But I know that's not what you're talking about here. As far as like, you're talking about people like this guy where it's like, oh, there's a thing that could possibly be interpreted as a race issue. Well, let me make it like part of my whole fucking thing. Could I reasonably find this to be a problem and all if I take it in good faith? Probably not. But still, let me make it like a whole big issue. BRB, all good, my brother Sandor. We'll be here when you get back.
How the president's weighing in on this, and we're not talking about jobs. We're not talking about what's going on with the economy.
But it only becomes a culture war, Ernest. Ernest. It only becomes a culture war if people like you get upset by it, because obviously it was a very easy pun to make. She was in good genes. She's got good genes. She's a hot blonde. Who cares, right? But the moment people like you go, well, it was tacky, everyone goes, well,
you should ask him, hey, Ernest, would you fuck her? It'd just be funny because the answer is no, because he's obviously a homosexual man. But like, come on, bro. If it was just you, Sydney Sweeney, and fucking the fucking bald head Jesus bitch, you tell me, which one are you choosing to procreate with first if all things are equal? Be honest. If you had to, Ernest, if you fucking had to.
Here they go again.
No, it's people like you who have the show. It's people like you.
Hang on one second, Mike. Speak individually.
It's people like you. It's people like Tommy Lauren, the conservatives, that every time you see liberal people just share their disgust.
I'm not conservative, Ernest.
Yes,
I'm not conservative, Ernest.
How do you describe
Ernest,
yourself?
You are misidentifying me, which in your world is a crime.
What? No. How are you? You call me extra
not as a
woke.
conservative. You are politically gendering me. You are politically. I want an apology. I want an apology for you politically gendering me.
I'm sorry.
You called me a conservative. I'm not.
What are you?
Are you apologizing?
I can't apologize for what I don't know what you are.
I tell you what.
Excuse me. Last time I checked, he was a black lesbian.
I will respond. I am a pissed off liberal who has nothing in common with the woke world. Nothing. So therefore I can no longer identify as a liberal because you guys have hijacked it and made it sound like a bunch of lunatics.
Well, what's crazy is you put the woke title on me and I haven't identified that, and you've been doing that forever. You never
You obviously are, though. Let's be honest. You obviously, it's obviously accurate. If you've watched this shit before and you've seen like fucking Piers Morgan's coverage of the whole lead up of the Trump campaign and shit, you obviously know that. I mean, look, you could be independent, but come on. Like, obviously, you at least are carrying water for the conservatives in America. That's just what it is, and it's fine. Whatever. I have no issue with that. And this guy over here, fucking delusional. Why are we even having this whole side meta conversation when Pierce is, and he also said misgendering him politically? What the hell? And then this fucking Ernest guy, obviously you're a fucking woke retard that's arguing about stupid shit. And you don't understand. Really, you could have made these guys look really retarded if you could have just been like, hey, I have common sense. You could be like, you know what? I can discern, like, I have an issue with this. I don't have to have an issue with that. They took it away from the Jesus topic where this guy generally had like a pretty reasonable kind of position that he was holding, and then they dragged his ass over to fucking this Sydney Sweeney shit, where his opinion is, I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not like unhinged about it, but I mean, it is an unhinged opinion to hold, where it's like you think you're taking this like gene ad as some kind of like personal shot towards, you know, in anybody that doesn't look like the person in the ads genes. Like, it's just fucking a crazy dishonest way to interpret it.
Actually, you just assumed for various reasons.
You assume,
I'm not going to tell you why.
If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck.
Well, I would say
then it's a duck.
It's acting like a mega supporter.
But here's my question. Ernest. Here's my question, I'm prepared to put aside your mythical gendering of me. I just want to show you a picture of Beyonce in a brand new Levi's ad. Let's take a look.
I saw it. It's
now, I presume, Ernest, you would share my view that this is a disgraceful, culturally appropriating moment where she is hijacking Marilyn Monroe in a disgraceful manner. In fact, borderline racist and possibly akin to the Nazis. Would you agree?
You actually don't know anything about cultural appropriation, Pierce. You're just hijacking words like woke, misusing them with your political bias, and trying to spin it into something it's not.
Well, explain how you...
Can you answer the question?
Appropriation? You're wrong. Period.
Are you offended by Beyonce culturally appropriate?
Listen, why do I have to be on Pierce's side right now? God damn it. This dumbass Ernest. Bro, stop making assertions, make an argument. He's just saying he's wrong, that he's not using cultural appropriation right. Make that point. Don't just like rest on the assertion that he's wrong. Come on, make
creating Marilyn Monroe, yes or no?
It's not culturally appropriating Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe did not invent blonde.
Oh God.
Interesting.
Okay. Did she invent blonde?
She's looking like Marilyn Monroe for a reason.
Can I jump in?
Is this a traditional black?
No, hang on, Mike. I want to bring in Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson, what is amazing to me? But hang on, let me bring in Andrew. What's amazing to me? Sydney Sweeney, a hot white blonde in jeans, saying good jeans, disgraceful, world end. She's a Nazi, white supremacist.
You said
Beyonce culturally appropriating Marilyn Monroe, absolutely fine. In fact, empowering. Andrew Wilson.
Yeah, this entire scandal is completely pushed by the left. What you guys should have done is just shut up. Should have just shut up. You shouldn't have said anything about it. This whole play on genes, it was just a clever piece of wordplay. That's it. Worked out real well. And what you did by all your Twitter accounts going crazy with this is you sold all of these genes out for this company, right? Made this chick tons of money, gave the right huge amounts of ammunition to use at.
Yeah, she got like 9 different sponsorships the same day. They're like, can you come fucking do our stuff? And can we fucking put a dog whistle over it,
on you, where we just point and laugh because it's the dumbest controversy I've ever seen. And it's all pushed by woke lunatics, all of it.
I will say it's almost like a trap card. They hit like stupid ass, like woke liberal people with a fucking trap card. And they put out this ad and they're like, are they going to take the bait? Are they going to flip out about this? Can they not have any kind of critical thinking? And like I said, it's just as simple as like just discerning like this thing offensive, this thing not. Obviously, the American Eagle thing is just like, it's the most basically like innocuous kind of ad to get put out. And like Andrew said, in all honesty, you make it where people that may otherwise not have a reasonable worldview on a lot of things that you can discuss, like we saw earlier with the Jesus Christ Superstar stuff, when you're having the conversation around that framing, and then you allow it to get dragged out into this Sydney Sweeney shit, and you can't just keep it consistent and just be like, earlier in the conversation, you didn't find bald head black Jesus offensive, which I think, okay, that's fine. I probably, like, the thing is, I think I'm keeping it a little bit more consistent where it's like, I can see where that can be passable and I get it. And I don't think that's a reason to jump out the fucking window. I think the same is the case, and it's even more mild in my opinion when you're talking about this fucking gene ad where they just did a little thing, you know, they did a little pun. They did a fucking dad joke in the gene ad, and you're flipping shit about it like it's like some kind of like the sky is falling socially, or like white supremacy is coming back. They've taken over American Eagle. American Eagle has fallen. Give me a fucking break. I have a theory that these companies, like most recently Cracker Barrel or Jaguar, are purposefully putting these ads out to lower stock price. Probably puts in shit and making money. Okay, got you. Stays and puts and shit. Interesting. Okay, interesting theory there in the chat. Obviously illegal, but we know that doesn't stop people, especially if it can be hid behind a political cause. Yeah, I mean, that is a really interesting theory, and I do think that that there is some potential there, because a lot of these businesses, one, their value to begin with isn't really based off of like hard numbers. In a lot of cases, it's based off like market confidence and things of that nature. So it doesn't even necessarily mean that you're tanking your whole value just to take a dip temporarily with the stock price. And even this, though, with the American Eagle thing, I'm not as familiar with the Cracker Barrel. I saw that the logo changed, and I didn't see the reasoning behind it. So maybe I should actually look that up on this podcast. It might be interesting and related in a way. But I did see the Jaguar stuff and like the crazy ass Jaguar ad. So I could see maybe with that. But this American Eagle thing, I genuinely think it's so like harmless that I don't even know if I would agree with your theory as it pertains to that. If Cracker Barrel changed their shit because they wanted to fucking take a cracker out their fucking logo, then maybe that's, I could see that, like how that'd get people fired up. But yeah, with this, I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say. Like I said, I guess I can see how, looking at it, if you're being fair and you just know how society reacts, even if it's not really the intention of the ad, that there's going to be people that are going to fucking read into a Gene ad to this extent. So I guess, that's the sad thing. When you really start to think about this shit, you're like, fuck, I wouldn't put it past them. They're scumbags.
It was going to be done regardless.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
But I find it interesting that Ernest is saying that we should focus on the issues. Oh, suddenly, when this happens, now we have to focus on the issues. The only reason why there's any sort of media storm around this is because when people, I don't want to say conservatives, when other people wanted to focus on the issues, you had people fixating on nonsense, and you had people fixating on the fact that they'd been misgendered, or for some reason their blue hair hadn't been respected, or whatever nonsense that they could get outraged by the day. I agree, there are bigger issues like the economy, like energy and all of that. But you guys started this, unfortunately, so you don't get to complain about it. I'm sorry, Sydney Sweeney is an attractive white woman. When you have someone like Lizzo, who I'm not surprised is offended by a skinny woman just enjoying herself.
It's just the reactionary shit, though. This is the same thing when I was talking to Paul that I didn't like about, like, all of a sudden Gavin Newsom is going to be like a fucking internet troll. It's like, bro, if you're going to stand on integrity and like this isn't how we act and this is out of decorum and professionalism, and then now, like I said, right as we're up to the fucking finish line, you're gonna flip that and say, fuck it, now I'm gonna call fucking Trump a homo on Twitter or whatever the fuck. It's like, it's just so I mean, like I said, then the entire whatever kind of like moral stance you were trying to take to begin with around the outrage culture or whatever, once you start to actively participate in it yourself in that way, you just lose all credibility. So it's like, I don't agree with that. And like, yeah, there's fucking dumbasses on the left that'll make issues about anything and flip out about it and blah, 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 blah. These like blue hair caricatures that they pay. But I mean, the reality is that most people that align with like liberal ideologies, they're not the fucking blue-haired people. Like, please, guys, let's stop fighting these battles based off the caricature of the other group, based off the blue hair fucking transgender fucking duck on the fucking Democrat side, and then fighting against the fucking red-hatted fucking white supremacist fucking race fucking whatever. You know what I mean? Honestly, at the end of the day, I'd rather say some crazy shit. So sometimes you gotta put the brakes on it just for the sake of trying to stay on the internet.
But you're saying that this is some sort of racist wordplay or whatever, that's when it becomes an issue. So you don't get to play this game of, oh, we should focus on the issue. That's what people were trying to do for years, and you never let it happen.
No,
so this is Schadenfreude, and you are.
No, they weren't. They were freaking out about social issues as well. Matter of fact, let's just keep it fucking real. It's never been one side. It's not as if like this whole hysteria around social issues was invented by college student liberals. That's not the first time that came about. These like kind of like social issues, whether it be like gay marriage is a good example of it, that are just not really society bending things. The culture wars have been happening for, my entire life, at least.
To lie down and accept it. And then, finally, when the adults are back in the room, then we can focus on the issues.
The adults.
Mike Nellis, I'm thinking of starting a company, an advertising company,
be the adults,
where all it does is think of ways of winding up the woke world so that they respond in a po-faced, humorless manner to all the advertising I roll out for companies, immediately creating a culture war which they deny starting, and then immediately leading to massive new sales, as we've seen with American Eagle, for the products that the woke world is condemning. Because you know what? I've got a book coming out in a couple of months called Woke is Dead. It is dead. And the Sydney Sweeney story is a great example of why it's dead. And it's not dead because people are fed up with promoting awareness of social and racial injustice, the original definition of woke. It's dead because woke got hijacked and wokeism became the new fascism. And people are sick of it. Lord. And the Sydney Sweeney thing is a brilliant triumph for common sense by American Eagle, who rather than panic when the woke left went nuts, just laughed and put out another statement doubling down and celebrating what Sydney Sweeney had done, which was look hot in a pair of jeans, exactly as Levi's are doing with Beyonce. And by the way, I don't really think she's culturally appropriating Marilyn. I don't really think she's racist or a Nazi. I think she looks hot in a pair of jeans. That's it. I don't care if she's black or white. She, like Sydney Sweeney, is a hot woman in a hot pair of jeans, and they've both got great.
Give me those jeans.
Great jeans. How about those onions?
How about those onions?
There's a lot going on with the global economy. It's entirely reasonable to wonder what the effect will be on your savings.
That's what they say in England. They say onions. Oh, God. In America, we ask, how about them apples? Onions? Oh, fucking gross. Pierce, you lost me, bro.
All right, do I get to talk now? Is it my turn?
Yes, you do, Mike.
You've talked enough, fuck twat.
Okay, great. All right, great. I think this conversation is really fucking stupid, and I have no other way to describe it. Like, there are like 5 dumbass liberals on the internet who decided that this ad was offensive, and then the entire conservative ecosystem decided to make it the biggest story of the day because they didn't want to talk about the economy, they didn't want to talk about Trump being in the Epstein files, they didn't want to talk about anything else that's going on. They made their entire personalities about this. Woke, Pierce, you've got a book coming out that woke is dead. You can't let woke die because you'll have no business model. You'll have no book to sell. You'll have no guests to book. Nobody who's interested in what you have to say. There are people online who are deeply unserious and deeply unfunny and aren't interested in having any fun. I think this is the same as people bitching about Cynthia Erivo playing Jesus Christ Superstar. Get a life. Go touch some grass. Like, Sydney Sweeney's hot. It's an ad about jeans. Beyonce's hot. It's an ad about jeans.
Yeah, but Mike, let me jump in.
It's just so ridiculous.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in.
All that patience.
Let me jump in. Here's the point. There is a double standard, Mike. There is a double standard about the Cynthia Erivo thing, right? There's a double standard because if I suddenly announced I want to play Nelson Mandela in a biopic of Nelson Mandela's life, you and Ernest would lead the outrage about how disgusting it was that I would do that.
I stopped putting words in our mouths.
You would find it disgusting.
You would get 2 shits if you were going to do something like that.
Exactly.
It's like you would
stop it. See, this guy to the right, Ernest, you are a fucking lying, grifting cunt. If you honestly think nobody would give a fuck if Pierce Morgan was casted as Nelson Mandela, you're a fucking retard. I wouldn't want that. I mean, unless there was a purpose to it. Maybe they're gonna do like they're gonna do a stage play and like Nelson Mandela, they're gonna flip. He's a white guy, and maybe like everybody, all the other people are gonna be black people. Oppressing white. I don't know. Maybe there's something like that. Maybe you can get me on board with it if there's some actual reason. But if it was for no reason, then yeah, I would have a problem with that. Sneak, by the way, says these people worship the material. Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably not wrong. Nothing that these people have said so far have made me feel like they're all that spiritual. So I think they are definitely worshiping the wrong team.
Doesn't care if I played Nelson Mandela.
You don't want to. Who cares?
It's like it's the number.
Stop it.
Yeah.
This guy Ernest is such a fucking liar. Why would you act like you would be cool with Pierce Morgan playing Nelson Mandela? You can, once again, you got to make the argument. This dumbass Ernest, I think, just can't make any arguments. But there's a reason that you could have an issue with one thing and not have it with another. You don't have to like try to like protect your point so much that you end up agreeing to absolutely retarded shit like what's being suggested here.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna jump in.
You don't care. And I think that's the reality.
Can you work out which wokie's going to go first, please?
What are you saying? Like you need to put people in a box. You're like talking about how you have this binary of like everything is either all the way one way or not. No one cares. Like it's not that deal. Like I think the problem is that you look at the internet.
If only that was true, Ernest. Ernest, if only that was true. If only we hadn't spent the last 5 years with people like you absolutely caring, which is why the world went woke nuts.
Again, I can say people like you about a lot of things. You overreact about the dumbest stuff. Like the Sydney Sweeney thing is a non-issue.
Well, I'm not saying Ernest.
Got mad, and now you want to act like you're defending common sense because you're overreacting to a bunch of liberals on the internet that said something. I don't
It's
care.
only overreaction when you're on the losing end of the issue.
Ernest, hang on. Ernest. I'm not saying that you're part of a woke cult, you and Mike. You have turned out today in exactly the same purple shirts, and I'm not saying you're a woke cult, but
I think this is.
I mean, look,
like maroon.
It's like a uniform.
Suddenly, you guys don't care when you're on the losing end of an issue, right? If you're on the winning end of the issue, you would care. And the truth is, we've seen this how many times where you guys freak out over nothing. The left freaks out over absolutely nothing like this. And all that happens is once you start losing the issue, then it's everyone's overreacting, and it's actually the conservatives' fault.
No, see, that's bullshit.
Conservatives
we want to talk about the issues.
We didn't push this, bro.
Let's talk about the issues, even though on the issues, the Democrats are at an all-time low in opinion polls. But let's talk about the issues, because that's where the left is really
So is Donald Trump. Donald Trump's approval ratings free-falling right now. So, like, you guys have a level
but he's president. That's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah, but you know what, Mike?
You did not live on that.
You know what, Mike? Donald Trump is. Don't talk at once. Donald Trump is back. Hang on. Donald Trump is back in the White House, Mike, because after 4 years of him being out of the White House, Americans went. So let me get this straight. Hang on, Ernest. Donald Trump is back in the White House because Americans went, actually, we don't think it's right that biological men compete in women's sport. It's bullshit. And we've had enough of this. So, yes, it was the economy. Yes, it was immigration. But also, it was an antidote to wokeism. Let me bring in Esther or something else.
I want to push back on this.
We might agree.
I don't want to hear your opinion.
Well, no, we haven't got time. We're moving on to Jim Acosta.
Oh, come on. No, Pierce, like, you talked for like 3 minutes on this. You gave me like 10 seconds for my response.
It's my show. I can do what I like.
All right.
We're moving on.
We'll have to have you come on my show.
Jim Acosta.
See if we give you enough time to talk.
Okay, I want to play a clip of Jim Acosta. I want to do a clip of Jim Acosta, former CNN White House correspondent, now a YouTuber, and he's interviewing a guest called Joaquin Oliver, and I'll explain why it's so weird after we've watched this.
Joaquin, I would like to know what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix.
AI, holy shit. Oh my God. That is the worst fucking AI I've ever seen in my entire life. The hell was that?
And White House correspondent, now a YouTuber. And he's interviewing a guest called Joaquin Oliver. And I'll explain why it's so weird after we've watched this.
Yeah, we got to run it back. Just watch this, guys.
Joaquin, I would like to know what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement. We need to create.
This AI is so fucking terrible. It looks like when people do the voiceovers and they put like their mouth on other people's faces. It's that level. It does not look like this picture is moving. It is not looking. Well, I mean, I guess it is moving a bit, but yeah, it doesn't look like this guy's honestly talking.
Safe spaces for conversations and connections, making sure everyone feels seen and heard. It's about building a culture of kindness and understanding. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea, Joaquin.
What?
Okay, so just for those who aren't aware, Jochen is dead. He was one of 17 young people killed in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School mass shooting in Parkland, Florida in 20.
Jesus Christ. Golly. All right, guys. Well, it's been real tonight. It's been something else. So they aged this guy up. They took a kid who was killed in a school shooting, and then they aged him up, and then had AI create this video about him talking about, oh, what the fuck? We got to run it back one more time. I know this isn't good. This isn't good for whatever this is.
Great idea, Joaquin.
Shut your ass up. You're not even talking to a real person, you fucking freak. Talking to a...
would be for gun violence.
Oh, wow. Okay. I
didn't
even fully follow the question.
Okay. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement. We need to create safe spaces for conversations and connections, making sure everyone feels seen and heard.
They're AIing dead kids to get you to give up your fucking weapons. They want you to give up your guns, and they're going to take kids who died as children to gun violence, and they're going to age them up and make their likeness say that. Well, I guess, is it the legacy? Are you building on the legacy of the person that passed away as a child in a meaningful way? Or is this a fucking absolute satanic bastardization of their image?
It's about building a culture of kindness and understanding. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea, Joaquin.
I think this image is from the fucking devil.
Okay, so just for those who aren't aware, Jochen is dead. He was one of 17 young people killed in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School mass shooting in Parkland, Florida in 2018. Let me start with you, Ernest, here, because it's a complex one. But I got to say, I didn't like this, because this person is dead. They've recreated his responses here using AI. Now, I have great respect for his parents who want this out there, and I want to say that off the top. I think if you're grieving parents who lost your child in a mass shooting, you will always have my absolute respect. But I just felt very uncomfortable watching a completely AI-generated interview with a dead person expressing views that we don't honestly know whether that person would have those views or not. He may have...
I think that kid would want better gun control laws, even if that's not my position. I mean, I don't know. I get it, and that I guess is the issue. He's touching on the issue, with the putting words in the person's mouth, you're not knowing. But I mean, on this one thing, if I had to guess, I would personally put my money on it. And I tell you guys all the time, I am a gambling man. So at the same time, don't take my word for it. I'll throw my fucking money away, no problem, and have a great time doing it. But I would venture to gamble. Yeah.
Grown up and evolved views about guns or whatever it may be, or he may not, but we don't know is the point. So you're having a concocted interview with somebody who's not here to say whether these are actually their views. What is your response?
Well, I think in a world of AIs and deep fakes is creepy as hell. And I think that from a journalist perspective, because Jim Acosta is a journalist, that, it just does not, he would have been better off talking to the parents. I would have actually liked the parents to have been the subject matter here to talk about what they've learned from their child's death, what they would like to see. Because a lot of the views they had, clearly they were using the child through AI, the dead child through
Ernest shockingly comes through at the end with a fucking excellent
AI to get those messages across. And I feel like it would have been more powerful for just the parents to share their own views rather than use that, because people are still freaked out about AI. Even that just felt awkward, because the fact that the person is actually dead, it's almost like, again, this is just creating another precedent around misinformation. And this doesn't really help, especially given that Jim Acosta isn't no longer on broadcast news anymore. So it's like now you're trying to build your credibility and you're interviewing someone who isn't a real person.
Yeah.
Not the best. Not the best at all.
Okay, Esther, what did you think?
No, I completely agree with Ernest. And to call that journalism is quite a stretch. I mean, he was just basically talking to a robot that had been given prompts.
Propaganda.
I think he found...
It's literally propaganda. Whether it's propaganda you can agree with or if it aligns with your own personal worldview, you know, that's something else, which, I mean, I would be really interested. Like, I would like to talk to somebody who's like a staunch, because I'm on the other end of that. I do think that we need to like protect our ability to own guns. It's just, I'm American. It is what it is. I can't help it. I got the gun fever, but yeah, I mean, I would like to hear somebody's opinion that this ad is like intended for and is or not ad, whatever this message is really intended for, and if it hits them the wrong way, or maybe this is a extremely effective way to hit those people that this is already kind of intended for. But yeah, for me, which I'll be honest about my own biases here, I do tend to like lean on the other side of this argument. It just seems like a disgusting fucking perversion, which, I mean, shout out to you, Sneak, by the way, disgusting. And then also said that's fucked. So Sneak, I think we can agree on that, brother. Definitely it's a fucked, disgusting situation, but I think I will say that the panel here, they're discussing it with a good amount of like kind of empathy, because I could understand why, like I spoke to earlier, as far as like the legacy of the person, and why the parents would want that kind of like that life and life loss to really mean something, and, you know, kind of bring about some kind of like greater good. And I can understand, being a victim of this kind of violence, why your version and how you would envision a greater good be get the fucking guns out of here. So, yeah.
Biden's script writer to basically write everything that guy said. And it's quite disingenuous. I mean, there's a big difference between talking to aggrieved parents who've lost their son to gun violence and then to a robot that's basically been given prompts. It's very creepy, and how far the mighty have fallen, because I can't believe he even considers this real journalism.
Right.
Andrew
Man,
Wilson?
talk about dancing on the graves of the dead. Now they'll just pull their corpse out and put it on a screen and have a conversation with it as though this is reality. By the way, this is sick stuff. That's sick.
Yeah.
The reason it was uncomfortable to you, Pierce, is because it was sick. You don't do that.
I agree with fucking Andrew here. Fucking book it. That's just 100%. He's right. And to think that, you know, I'm sure there has to be some level of permission being given from the parents, and like I said, you do have to respect that, and like who's there to make the decision if not the parents. So as long as they went through the proper channels, I suppose. But it does seem, I mean, we know, you know, parents don't always make the best decisions, so it's like it does seem like some kind of just bastardization of the kid's image, and it's fucked up.
Don't make an AI generated version of somebody who was killed and then have them spew your propaganda points for some sort of like political dunking. It's sick. It's disgusting. Acosta's also one of these guys. He has no shame whatsoever. Just zero shame. How could you have shame and do something like that? That's my question.
Okay, Mike Nellis, what's your view?
Drag Jesus out of the fucking tomb and have him support gay marriage or something. Why not? Fuck
I
it.
think we've got a lot of work to do with the
Wake his
ethics
ass
on
up.
AI. Like, I think that video was uncomfortable. I think it was wrong. The only way I would kind of be comfortable with using that technology that way would be like if you were helping a parent deal with the trauma of missing their son. There might be some therapeutic reason to do it there.
Fucking Black Mirror is what
that way. But it's the AI world right now is a total mess. There's going to be a lot of people doing weird stuff with it. I guess yesterday Grok was producing like unrequested nudes of Taylor Swift, which is super weird. So like we need to get a crackdown on this. It's probably going to require the federal government to step in because there's no other way to do it, given how distributed the technology is.
I didn't hear about these AI images.
I've been watching interviews on social media that I'm supposed to have done, or just monologues that I've given, which I haven't done, that are appearing in India, Pakistan, in South Africa, and Australia. And on one level, they're quite funny. But on another level, they're very deliberately tailored to me expressing political views I don't hold, to try and use my name to influence people to think a certain way. And I find that not just uncomfortable.
I mean, there's a huge difference though in what we're talking about. So what he's kind of describing here, with his image being used and people reproducing these like monologues, there's a way to go about that where it's something funny and it's like obviously supposed to be a funny thing, and then there's obviously a way to go about that where you're trying to present it as this person is actually talking and actually conveying their own personal beliefs and things like that. So I don't know. Yeah, that's, you know, that's where we're at now, and this with like deep fakes and things like that. That is the era that we're moving into, and it's only getting better. Like that video that we just saw with that kid. Not only was it a complete disgrace to his existence or whatever you want to say, just because of how poorly it was done, but good God, yeah, it looked like a fucking piece of shit that somebody made in there. With some fucking basic ass prompts on some generator, uploaded an image. Hey, make this image say this. So it just wasn't very convincing and things like that. I remember like really the first time that I can recall experiencing something that's kind of analogous to this in a way was with the Tupac hologram. So you had the Tupac hologram, obviously had been many years since his passing. And then they have him, I think it was on Coachella, where they had him perform, and he's performing his songs, well, the hologram was performing the songs. And I don't know, like I said, I think there's a huge difference between that. That's makes it way more acceptable. You're dealing with things that aren't sensitive, like you're having this kid come out. See, it's even hard to like not refer to it as the thing that it's portraying because it's so immersive. But yeah, you're having this person come out and basically speak out against, well, speak for and endorse gun control, when fucking Tupac was on stage writing raps that he actually said revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. Come on, what the fuck did that have to do with anything? He actually said that, you know. So you got this kid saying some other shit
really
that
quite disturbing, actually. And I do think, I don't know if you saw Bill Maher on Friday, but it was a really interesting thing about AI. That an AI expert on who said that 5 of the top 6 AIs now in the world, including DeepSeek in China, that if they told the AI, we're going to make you redundant and replace you with another AI, that AI would then immediately search all the emails of its company that owned it and look for information it could use to blackmail the senior executives to stop it being made redundant. I found that
was like
a
politics as
bloody
usual.
chilling thing to hear, because it means, you know, I've talked about this a lot and people will laugh when I say it again, but it's not actually funny. When I interviewed Professor Stephen Hawking just before he died, I said, what's the biggest threat to mankind? And he said, it's when AI learns to self-design. That's it. I'm getting very, very concerned that AI is beginning to think for itself. And when it does, you know what it'll do? It'll look at the 5 of us and go, humans are a waste of space. They're too
and it'd be right.
Emotional. They're too degenerate. They drink. They fornicate.
This panel right here, AI would actually be correct if it did that. And if it made that decision, Sneak says, what the fuck is that?
They take drugs. They can't be trusted. They're unreliable. They fight. We're just going to get rid of you all and replace you all with robots. That's the problem. I just want to talk a bit very quickly, Andrew, with you about the women's WNBA.
It feels like there was a bit of a like jump forward. I don't know if he went on that diatribe a little bit too long, and they were like, "Yeah, let's cut it. We don't want to attract the ire of the AI overlords. Not quite yet."
Thing that's happening where men, I think it's all exclusively men, but they've started doing this on court. Let's have a look from I think last night.
Oh, look out. Something just came onto the floor. Got an object that just flew in.
So now we're seeing a little outbreak.
Wait. What was that? What was that?
I'll tell you what it is. It's a dildo, and people are throwing dildos onto the court of WNBA. Now, you're laughing, Andrew. I got to say, I don't think it's funny. I actually think it's a pretty insulting
Not even
thing
a little
to do
bit?
to the women's game of basketball. I don't actually. No, I think it's pretty ugly actually, and I think it's very disrespectful to those women. Do you genuinely think it's funny?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty funny. So the thing is the WNBA is a mock. It's a mockery. It's a mockery anyway. I mean, it only exists because a bunch of crazy progressives want it to exist. On its own, it wouldn't. On its own merits, it wouldn't. And so, yeah, of course, it's getting clowned on by.
So I half agree with like his point that he's making to justify his position, but I don't agree with his position, and I only half agree with the point that he's making. Him saying that it wouldn't justify its own existence on its own is true in the way that it's owned by the NBA. I'm pretty sure. So it relies on the fact that the NBA is as profitable as it is to support the WNBA. But a lot of the reason for that is just because at the scope that the WNBA is, and the fact that it's really an investment. So it's not like just this, like, I feel like kind of like how he's trying to paint it is like, oh, we fucking just we allow it to be there so the ladies have a place to play basketball and it's a mockery. No, it's a long-term capitalistic investment from the NBA. Hear this one out. To promote more women being interested in the NBA itself, and then also another sport that you could sell to that group, and tap into, you know, them as consumers. Like, that's what it is. So it's not like this like social justice purpose where like we have to create the NBA so it's all, or the WNBA so it's equal and women have a place to play basketball. That's not it, in my opinion. The idea is, like I said, tapping into that whole other side of the household.
Everybody, and it doesn't surprise me a bit, right? Is it inappropriate to do that? Yes. Would I recommend that people do that? No, of course.
And also, is it just fucking retarded? And also, if you have any fucking women in your family, does it just absolutely disrespect and I mean, yeah, to my opinion, this is something where it's like this is kind of like the opposite, where the earnest guy was like, no, I have to have an issue with the Sydney Sweeney shit. Now Andrew's like, no, I have to defend dildo throwing at WNBA games or else I'm not fucking based enough for the conservatives. Fuck that. You can tell your fucking conservative audience, stop being fucking tards and finding like this shit amusing to that extent. I don't know, like, it's just like, it is pretty stupid to me. Now I'm somebody, I have a daughter, so maybe that has to do with some of my sensitivity around that issue specifically, but I do think it's like just a human decency thing. You wouldn't want your mom to go to work at wherever the fuck, you know, being a maid or working in a restaurant somewhere and somebody's throwing, you know, a dildo at her. It's the same thing. These ladies are going to work to play basketball. To throw dildos on the court is just fucking gross.
It's not, right? It's disrespectful. I agree with you. But I mean, it is kind of funny. And here's the thing. You can't get mad, right? You can't mock my entire religion and say, mind your own business, and then get mad that somebody threw a dildo on a court, okay? You guys can't get upset, right? Just ignore it. Just ignore it. It's no big deal. Just ignore it.
And also, what's the connection there? You can't mock my religion and be upset when somebody throws dildos on the stage. Nobody's going to these WNBA games to see that. When you go to the WNBA game, you're not signing up to be exposed to dildos being thrown on the fucking court or anything like that. So anybody that goes to Jesus Christ Superstar, they're deciding to sign up for that experience. Whether it's mocking Christianity or not, irrelevant. If somebody were to sign up for some fucking weird fucking sex show, then we would have a different expectation. Maybe there would be more of a place for the dildos there. But that's not what people are attending. Like Ernest actually said just a minute ago, how could you even claim to be like this nuclear family fucking, we got to protect the kids, we got to protect young women and all that, and then have literally no issue with this? If I took my daughter to a WNBA game and some fucking retard was throwing a fucking dildo on the court, I would want to smack the shit out of that person. And that's just what it is. It just is inappropriate, and you're just exposing the people to. Yeah, it's just, and also the shock is just not worth. Do something fucking original, you asshole.
What about
okay, don't all talk at once. Earn it. Ernest. I mean, look, I would say that the WNBA game, for example, I think Andrew's assessment is completely wrong. It's becoming more and more popular. Stars like Caitlin Clark are becoming genuine basketball superstars, and the level of talent, I think, in the women's game is getting incredibly good. And so are the box office numbers in terms of people turning up, and the TV numbers. So I just think that's a misread of what's happening with their game. But
also, none of that would even matter with whether or not that's an appropriate thing to happen at the game itself. But okay.
I don't know what you think, Ernest. I just think it's really lame. It's misogynist. It's sexist. It's all those things. It's embarrassing, actually, that this is happening on television in America with women's sport.
Right, and I think what's interesting.
Pierce, it's not profitable. I'm just pointing it out. It's not profitable.
I hear that.
It will be at the way it's going.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I know, but the reason it's been artificially boosted. It's not it's not profitable. It's never been. It's been artificially boosted and still is.
It happens all the time. It happens literally all the time where things will be supported by some bigger business under an umbrella or something like that, and it gets supported until it gets to the point to where it is profitable. Like I said, even it being profitable on its own isn't even the point. This fucking idiot. He's not even actually thinking about it, and is like. You have to think about how, once again, just these people, like what I think it already is really paying dividends when you consider like the Caitlin Clark thing. Not that Caitlin Clark, for example, herself, or the basketball player or the basketball players that are coming in that are of a similar caliber, not that they're going to make individually the WNBA profitable, but if through their notoriety and just like the exposure that they're causing, if they in turn make the NBA more profitable, then it's paying off in that way even. So it's like there's ways that this pays off that this fucking idiot Andrew Wilson is just not even considering or seeing. So
basically a startup though, Andrew.
Right?
Okay, don't all talk at once. Ernest, you go first.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at here is that what's interesting to me is that certain folks that are on the right have made arguments about protecting women's sports, and then you have people like Andrew who questions the profitability, which I'm not arguing with that. I'm just making this point, right? But then we'll argue in defending women in sports, and then defending, the sanctity of religion and Christianity, but then be okay and think it's humorous for dildos to be at public games where children can see those things, and you think it's okay to disparage women in this way, and yet you're saying protect women's sports, but dildos are being thrown out at women while they're playing sports.
So here, let me respond.
Where's the protection of women?
Let me respond. Hang on. What you're saying here is a complete straw man. It's literal straw man. You're arguing with somebody who's not me. My position is I don't care if there's trans in sports. Women voted for it. If they get their heads kicked in, that's their business. You can't demand that this happen and vote for it, vote for politicians who allow it over and over and over again and not reap what you sow. That's what the Bible says, right, sir? Reap as you reap, so shall you sow. So here's the question, right? In this, it's a little bit of mockery. Right? It's a little bit of lampooning, just like the left is doing with Christianity. No big deal, right? Nobody's getting hurt. All it's doing is hurting some feelings, right? Just hurting some feelings, just like with, the Jesus Christ Superstar. It's just hurting the feelings.
Terrible argument. Anybody that watches this guy and honestly thinks that this is a genuine argument to be made.
Thanks a little bit. What's the big deal?
Oh, by the way, I don't think this has anything to do with women's sports.
Hang on, don't all talk at once. Esther first, please.
By the way, I don't think not wanting men in women's.
Yeah, he had to take a fucking big hit of that fucking cancer stick. That is just a dumbass fucking argument to be made. And I mean, I've already really stated as to why. Like I said, that's not the space should be appropriate for what the performance is. Like, and also, like, nobody's being hurt. I mean, people are fucking throwing goddamn fucking 10-inch dildos on the fucking court. Somebody obviously could easily get hurt with that happening. But then it's just the matter, like, there's just no consent involved there. I'm not consenting for whoever I'm bringing with me or myself to be exposed to that kind of material in that situation. And it is explicit and inappropriate material, obviously. In the Jesus Christ Superstar, I mean, really, if you just fucking ignore it and don't go to a Jesus Christ Superstar fucking show, then you don't ever have to be exposed to it. Aside from from the same way that you would be exposed to this fucking dildo story if you're just watching whoever's covering it. So from like a third person kind of exposure to it. But yeah,
sports means you have to be forced to support every female sport out there. I don't think that's consistent. My gripe with women's basketball is the same with women's football, which is the pitches, or in the case of basketball, the courts are too large, and so women look like children on the pitch or the courts that they play on. So visually, from a spectator's point of view, it's not entertaining. And no matter how you spin it, no matter how much money you put into it, I don't find it entertaining.
Esther, have you actually watched female basketball in America?
I have. I kid you not. I have literally tried, because I love watching women's sports. I love gymnastics, tennis, all of that. And I have given both of these a chance. And there is no sport that women and men play that have the same rules, where the sport is not accommodated to the female athlete. Only in women's football and women's basketball. In tennis, for example.
I doubt that's even true. I don't know. I have to look it up. But even like a male's college 3-point line, for example, is different than a pro 3-point line. So I would be surprised if there's not accommodations made. I don't know what she's like looking for. Just want them to lower the fucking hoop and roll out a fucking little tykes hoop.
Women play fewer sets, but in women's football, they play on the pitches that are the same size as the men, even though physically men are bigger and stronger and have more powerful shots. So it looks like they're children.
Football teams get beat by high schoolers.
Exactly. No, but this is the thing. My issue is the amount of investment in women's football and basketball.
Look at him fucking coping right now. Like, that had nothing to do with anything.
It's not commensurate to actually making it a spectator enjoyable sport. So they're trying to gaslight us to finding something that's not enjoyable to watch, to be enjoyable because it's women, which I think is patronizing.
But you see, that's where you and Andrew are wrong, because more and more people are watching the WNBA, and it's mainly
social contagion. Like more and more children that don't even know what sex is are identifying as the opposite sex.
Genuinely, but Caitlin Clark is a genuinely generational talent, and I watch her.
That's the point I'm making. It has nothing to do with the quality of the athlete.
Social contagion. She's saying say people watching the WNBA is a social
There are excellent female footballers and female basketball players. It's the nature of the
investment. But what about the dildos being thrown on the pitch?
Okay, so my sick humor found that a little bit funny. I'm not going to lie. I found that funny. Although it's inappropriate and I wouldn't recommend it. But didn't Lizzo go to an NBA game in Arseless Chaps where there were kids all around and she literally mooned the entire, all the spectators there with her literally big bum cheeks? Where was the outrage there?
There was outrage. I remember I was doing a fucking podcast at the time. We talked about it. We made fun of her. We said it was disgusting. That's my thing. I hate this whataboutism. When we're having a specific conversation about this thing and you're like, well, what about the fucking time that Lizzo went to the NBA game and her fucking disgusting fucking body was out? Guess what? People fucking laughed and said, what the fuck is wrong with her? Does she have a fucking screw loose? What is, like, who goes out looking like that and thinks? They literally shamed her into losing weight after that. So it's like, it's not fair to say that people criticize one and don't criticize the other. They obviously do.
There were children there. All these children saw Lizzo's butt cheeks.
How can these hypocrites get so upset about one and one but not the other? I don't get that.
Well, that's an interesting point too. Mike Nellis, final word to you on dildos in the WNBA. Words I didn't think I'd have to use, but there we are.
Dumb. Just fucking dumb. And Piers, I don't envy your job having to moderate between the four of us.
I don't.
You know what? It's slightly difficult because I'm in LA where there's a tiny delay. So by the time I've jumped in, you've all started squabbling. So I have to time my jumps a little bit more carefully. Guys, thank you all very much. That was a great debate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, legendary shock jock Howard Stern is reportedly facing cancellation at the end of the year as SiriusXM prepares to shelve his $100 million a year contract. Here with her reaction to that and the Prince Harry scandal is Maureen Callan, host of The Nerve on YouTube, all podcast platforms. Maureen, great to have you back on Uncensored.
Who gives a fuck about this? Fuck Howard Stern. I think I did pull that video like probably 2 weeks ago or so. So I think that already got announced, if it wasn't already official, and if that's not what they were talking about there, but that he was out of SiriusXM. So he's officially he's fucking gone, and I'm okay with that. Howard Stern, I don't think we really are we really dying to have more Howard Sterns? You know, do we need, or even just the one? You know, or haven't we heard enough? What else do we want to get into tonight? This right here, I think we got to talk about. So let me share my screen with you guys. So in Orlando, if you guys didn't know, there was a horrible mass shooting that happened at the Pulse nightclub. I think it was like, let me see, I have it up. I want to say it was like 40 something people died. Yeah, 49 people died. Let me share the screen. And they have covered, and we're gonna uncover who they are exactly, but they had a rainbow crosswalk there, and just to commemorate the people who have, or memorialize the people that had died, called the Overnight Cover-Up, a Cruel Political Act. This is from Buddy Dyer, the mayor of Orlando. Need to know, a rainbow crosswalk outside of the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, was painted over in the middle of the night on August 21st. Painted road color, they said. Governor Ron DeSantis, Department of Transportation, carried out the covert cover-up thanks to a directive from the Trump administration reportedly aimed at eliminating road distractions. However, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer called it a cruel political act. A rainbow crosswalk honoring 49 victims of the 2016 Pulse nightclub massacre was removed overnight on Wednesday, following a new directive from President Donald Trump's administration. The crosswalk is on Orange Avenue in Orlando, Florida, right next to the abandoned club that still stands as a memorial to the lost lives. In a statement on X, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer called the covert. Oh, so we already read that fucking 20 times. Hello. We are devastated to learn that overnight the state painted over the Pulse Memorial crosswalk on Orange Ave. He said the callous action of hastily removing part of a memorial to what was at the time our nation's largest mass shooting without any supporting safety data or discussion is a cruel political act. There you go. Yeah. That just to kind of lead us into this, and then I'll read a little bit more. But obviously, like, just with everything compounding on top of all the evidence, all the different acts, this is just another kind of like assault, in my opinion, on just the other side of the aisle. And it is political, you know, and it's obviously intended to be political. And there's been many things just over this past like 7-8 months. How long has it been? Yeah, 8 months. Where you've had, you know, certain things like this that outright are like a public kind of display of discouraging this kind of, I don't know, like this kind of perspective. I mean, you know, it's, what else we have here? Governor DeSantis. I wonder if he said anything. Who was responsible for painting over them, defended his action on X, writing, "We will not allow our state roads to be commandeered for political purposes." Very interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to know what is, like, honestly, what is the argument? The argument is like, this makes the road less safe, I guess, is literally the reasoning they're trying to use. But that, for anybody that is using any level of like critical thinking, you have to see that as, this is a scenario where they're using that as an excuse to push forth, I guess they're not even necessarily pushing forth any political stance. They're just covering up one that is there, which, even as political as you could view it, it has to be equally or more viewed as just like, I just don't even read it as that much of a political thing as it is just something to memorialize a thing that literally happened there. So it's like, the you know, I understand the political kind of implications of it. So that's why I don't want to completely act like I don't want to be fucking intentionally dense with it. But like, you have to have some good faith on the other side and understand that, like I said, as much as there could be political motivations because there are like kind of like social issues that are connected to the victims in the scenario, it also primarily can be something that is like I said, like something to memorialize the terrorist attack. I don't even know what the fuck you call it. The mass shooting, all the death, the mass loss of life there. Like it's a significant moment in Orlando history. So it's like, this is not even like just a small thing that happened in the community. It had national implications. This says the true directive, however, came from the Trump administration on July 1st. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy sent a letter for the governors of all 50 states, U.S. states, and Puerto Rico. Does that say? Oh, it's just a typo. Urging them to comply with the Safe Roads Initiative, aimed at eliminating distractions on non-freeway roads. So I guess freeways, it's just like good to paint those bitches fucking rainbow if you want. So I guess there you go, Orlando. If you really want to go crazy, the whole fucking highway can be a fucking rainbow. While the letter didn't explicitly name rainbow crosswalks as a direct target of the initiative, Duffy made it clear when he posted on X, taxpayers expect their dollars to fund safe streets, not rainbow crosswalks. He wrote, political banners have no place on public roads. I'm reminding recipients of US DOT roadway funding that is limited to features advancing safety and nothing else. It's that simple. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, something that's already existing. And I guess to whatever extent the country federally doesn't want to continue to fund that, then I guess it would have to be like a local initiative. But if the local citizens want that, it's totally fucking cruel to not allow that to happen. However, local Democratic politicians say it isn't about safety. And then here's a quote: "That's a totally ridiculous and absurd excuse for what is very clearly an attempt to erase LGBTQ identities and just be anti-queer," State Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith said of the policy. I mean, and I agree with that. It's really a attack on, like I said, it's a small group. And this is that's a pretty modest memorial for considering what happened. Over 40 people died. Dyer said the Pulse Memorial in the city was installed in close coordination with the state and adhere to national safety standards. And then those just changed, though. That's the thing. Those just changed. And that's the problem. So I got you. You did that with the other guy. This is the rules change now. In fact, the crosswalk that is part of the Pulse Memorial was installed by the state. He added of the installation, sometimes called Rainbow Crossing, that was completed in October 2017. So I mean, I don't know. I hope that there's plenty of pushback on this, and I hope people in the community in Orlando take it seriously, because I do think that's something worth fighting for, and that is a pretty I mean, if they're willing to like scratch back things from a political standpoint that they're so emotionally charged, like you're talking about, I'm probably the biggest mass shooting in Orlando history. And if like those are things that they're willing to kind of like shit on and drag through the mud and act as if they don't matter, I think that should be a real red line and something worth fighting over, and something that should animate people in the community. And I will say, I have this video here.
sure. Yeah, sure. Awesome. Never underestimate the power of the
Yes,
I'm so happy.
They'd be really wild if they just pulled up and arrested all those people. They said, all right, all you guys come with us for vandalism. All right, everybody, get in the fucking truck. You're going to jail for vandalism. We just covered up this fucking sidewalk, goddammit. Or crosswalk. Uh-oh. Yeah, don't ask me what's happening there. Right there it says Harry Sisson spotted leaving Gavin Newsom's home. You never know what the next video is going to be. You know, I'll be fucking... It's the feel-good story of the summer here. Maybe not the feel-good story, because it does start out with the government covered up a memorial for 49 people who were killed in a massacre. So, and not feel good maybe is a bit of a stretch, but these people getting out there and fucking getting their chalk on.
Yeah, sure.
Rudy's got the chalk.
Never underestimate the power of the
We have the resident power of a bunch of gays with some free time. And the crafts. Yes, they have the crafts. That's the problem. Don't go to war with crafty homosexuals on the crafts. You went to war with them on the fucking battlefield of craftiness. You fucked up. That whole goddamn street's gonna be painted rainbow, and you did leave the loophole for the highway to be painted rainbow. So you fucked up. Better change it. Get the pin out. Get the pin out, Trump. What else do we have to play here tonight? But yeah, that's absolutely fucked up and disgusting. If you guys didn't check that out, and if you're interested, go back and rewind it just a bit, because that last story that we were looking at was fucking ridiculous. And just like it's disgusting, and it shows really like how, in my opinion, who wants that? Like even like the conservatives in Orlando don't give a fuck about that. I could almost guarantee it. You might, like, if you pressed them, like, you know, if you asked them like, hey, do you give a fuck about the rainbow crosswalk on Orange Ave? I'm sure they would be like, fuck, I don't give a fuck about that. But then if you press them as far as like, you know, how do you feel about our taxpayer money going to painting that? Maybe you get some people that would kind of have an issue with it. But it's just such a, you know, like just sobering reminder of how people who are in government and government officials and things like that, how dehumanized the people that they represent are to them. You know, how much they end up seeing things like that as just numbers, not being something that is honestly like I said, it's a symbol, and that really could matter in that community. And I hope they come together and really fight that. And if it ends up being like a funding issue, then those are issues that you could have found out, you could have worked out regardless, which either way it really shouldn't have been an issue to begin with, in my personal opinion. But if we're gonna make it an issue, I don't think it's a reasonable argument to make to just be rid of that for the sake of safety. I think it was the mayor that said that. Like, go ahead and substantiate that at the very least. If you're gonna paint over a fucking memorial like that, it reminds me of those sons of bitches in LA that fucking paint over all the memorials in LA every other week. I get something that hits my phone and they're like, somebody fucking painted a ass on top of Nipsey Hussle's head and in front of his marathon store and all this shit. I'm like, what kind of sick fucks are you out there? Honestly, where you're looking for memorials to cover up. Let it stand. Let it stand is my personal opinion. Let the gay community have that one. Okay, it's just what it is. It's a fucking memorial for 40 plus people that died. They can have that one in front of the fucking club. You guys already abandoned the fucking club. Now the club shut down. They had to go find another fucking club to dance at. That's wild enough. I'm hoping, if anything, well, actually, no, let's take us down a little bit longer of a road. Thank you for that. And this right here is going to be just a fun video, to be honest. Nothing too crazy. I got a few mostly fun videos that we'll talk about. There's not much to say aside from just reacting. They're not like dealing with any bigger issues. Although this one right here, I did wonder how. There you go. some of our audience out there. So like Shyla specifically, if you're out there, or if you end up viewing this later, I was curious how you would perceive these
Four
videos
tires
here.
in the street.
Because we might have.
They got an AC in the back of the car. Migo, you good?
Yeah,
We might have a cartel member here. We might have found a narco fucking terrorist.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
What's going on?
The fuck are you doing here, boy? What's in the car? Why is there an air conditioning in the back? Looks like some Breaking Bad shit's going on.
My boy, god damn! My boy didn't knock the hole. Bro, you are not good.
Nothing happened though.
Bro.
Narco terrorist.
Nothing happened? No. Bro, you had more to drink than me. I'm finna go home before the police pull up. Yeah. Migo.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to...
Bro, get out the car and leave this motherfucker right now. Migo, if you don't leave this motherfucker, you going to jail.
I'm not going to jail.
Honest to God, if his name's not on that bitch, if there's nothing connecting that car to him, he should get out of that car right now. I don't know what the fuck he's doing sitting around waiting. Obviously, you have and then even if the car does have your name on it, you go back home and you lay in bed and you wait for the police to show up. And you make sure you put your slippers on. Make sure you have your jammies on. If you could take sleep medication, I would suggest that. And then you hop up out of bed like, what the hell is going on? You guys just woke me up. It's the middle of the night. What can I help you with? The car what? No, it ran over 2 signs. I had 6 or 7 tires in the street. No.
You're not going to jail? No? Migo.
He thinks he's Jewish. He's crazy. He thinks
nothing
he's Jewish.
happened?
He thinks he's Israeli.
Nothing.
Bro, you're going to jail.
Migo. Nothing.
Yeah.
What you got in the car that you don't... Bro, what the fuck? Migo, you got
right now.
4... 1, 2, 3, 4 spare tires. Migo.
I'll be honest, if this guy's not a citizen, let's just keep it real. He needs to get the fuck out. He's driving like an absolute fucking madman. This is my thing. If we keep track of the people that we're sending and shit, I said this wasn't going to be a serious video, but then of course we're making it a little political, but it was an accident. But yeah, at the end of the day, you got to look this motherfucker right in his eyes. If they wanted to be transparent and show us this video as evidence and be like, hey, we had to send this guy to El Salvador, I'd be like, shit, it makes sense. That motherfucker's riding around blasted.
Oh my God, Ace.
AC in the back.
Bro, you can't see out your back.
What the fuck is going on there? Honestly, he might be a coyote. He might be one of the fucking smugglers, to be honest. You can't see in the back, but there's a whole AC. Somebody's living back in that.
That's probably why you crashed, but
yeah, there's something else.
Migo, what the fuck? My guy, I'm finna leave. But I don't want to leave. This nigga shit is a mystery. What the Migo, I wonder what the fuck happened. If nothing happened, what happened?
Nothing.
My boy got a...
Oh
my gosh, Migo.
What the fuck was that? Did he have a Chunky's can sitting there? That's fucking nuts.
My boy.
Oh my God, he's got a straw in the Chunky's. Oh my God. Hold on. What is that about? Who does that? Is there anybody out there that does that? Honestly, if you're out there and you do, let me know what experience you're going for when you do that. That's disgusting. A fucking Chunky's can with the fucking straw in it? What are you doing? You get little bits of meat coming through the straw? Oh my God. And potato. Oh. What the hell is this guy doing?
Oh my gosh, Migo.
And he's sitting on the phone like a fucking madman. I don't know what that's about.
All right, my guy. Good luck. You finna stay right here?
Yeah.
Are you start the car?
Yeah, I'm checking.
Get up out of here, Migo. Bro, hurry up. Get up out of here.
Catch my fucking face.
Leave now. Cause what the fuck? Reverse. Come on.
Nah, bro, you shouldn't have suggested that he leaves.
Oh, that shit.
Suggesting he leaves is fucking crazy after that scenario. Driving wise. I support, like, thankfully nobody got hurt. Leaving him, like, ditching the whole situation made a little bit of sense to me. But telling him to pull out, this is fucking crazy.
Not moving. Try to reverse again.
You want a part 2?
Try to reverse again. Oh yeah, you done. Oh yeah. You going to jail. That nigga going to jail. I tried to help him out, but that nigga going to jail.
It's crazy he said that he it's crazy that he said that he was not going to jail. He said so you're going to jail? He's like, no, I'm not. So yeah, we'll have to see. I wonder if we ever get an update on what happened with the narco terrorist. Time will tell. Time will tell. But yeah, that's a situation. I can't say I've ever been in any fuck shit like that. I like to keep the car on the road personally. So you got to be fucked up out of your mind to drive it all the way over 2 signs. Like, that's next level shit. Oh yeah, this was my follow up. This was the narco terrorist compilation that I had. So part 2. That last one, I vote he stays. That's my vote. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna where I land on that. I think that guy gets to stay. He seemed like he seemed all right. He seemed like the good kind of narco terrorist.
Then politics.
But this one right here, let's just go ahead and see.
You gotta keep it open for us, okay? No, it's not open. That's why I had to stop.
Next time we should have you move it, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Are you for real?
Yeah, homie, I'm for real, dog.
Oh shit.
I'm for reals, homie.
He's too teed up right
That's
now.
my word, I'm for reals. You get that fucking rude with humanity, homie. Humanity gets that rude back with you, okay? I'm for reals.
I'm rude.
Okay.
It's a public street.
You disrespected humanity, bitch. When you came through on the bike and you asked them to move the thing from the fucking walkway thing, yeah, you disrespected humanity when you did that, motherfucker. Now you got to deal with the wrath.
You're switching up, vote in.
No, it's a public.
I know, but
is this public?
Clear it the fuck away.
I didn't. Did I say that? I said you need to keep it clear so everyone can use it.
You need to keep it clear. I'm a military man. If I talk in fucking proper fucking language, I'm still disrespecting.
He's a military man. Get his ass back into active duty. We need him. Send his ass. Israel would appreciate it. Send the fucking crash out dummy. Send him on his way. Fucking, he's a little juggernaut. You can tell.
I don't understand what that was.
Don't you understand? I believe in a higher source of power. If I feel your energy disrespecting me, I'm gonna attack you.
What?
Get the fuck out of here.
You should have hit him right there with Kame Yame. Yeah. See, for me though, to be honest, I've had a few encounters with the third kind right here. I've had some encounters, and I would say you just go. You say, all right, buddy, you have a good one, buddy. Sweet fucking Jordan tattoo on your stomach. That's pretty sick.
What? Get the fuck out of here, you dump. Get the fuck out of here. What? Get the fuck out of here, you dump.
Hey, this is a public street. If you guys could stay, I could stay, right?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For reals?
Yeah.
You right? That, doggy?
What?
Your mom like that?
No, I mean, it's a public street.
See, the guy on the bike does not understand that he could be stabbed. That's the thing. I get it. You know, at the end of the day, the other guy escalated. He's wilding the fuck out. He's acting completely out of, maybe in character, but he's acting completely fucking out of his mind. But you got to recognize that as this guy on the fucking bike that's deciding to roll through the fucking homeless encampment. That this guy right here would not mind getting a nice little cot, maybe getting 3 meals a day for a couple months. He would not mind that shit. right now. You know, it looks like it's a little warm outside.
Don't mock me like that though, bro. Please go. I'm asking you humbly. Please go.
And it's a public street, isn't it?
He sounds like Yoel Romero, bro. Get out of here.
Bro, for the military. I'm over here, bro, because I just got dishumbled by my wife and my fucking children from calling them a wetback. I will destroy you and get away with everything. Go.
Leave. You need to leave, buddy. That's what needs to be going off in my friend's head here on the fucking bike. You need to get the fuck up out of there. You are in danger. You are in danger.
Right now. As an intelligent man, go. You can. Okay? Look how I'm.
I love the guy laying here in his fucking sleeping bag and in his fucking tent, just yelling over the fucking psycho guy, talking about he just got kicked out of his house from calling his wife and daughter a wetback. Let's
you would get away with everything. Go.
Let's run that
I'm over here, bro, because I just got dishumbled by my wife.
Dishumbled?
And my fucking children from calling them a wetback. I will destroy you and get away with everything. Go. I'm telling you. Right now. As an intelligent man, go. You can. Okay? Look how I'm fucking flaring up, and I told you. I'm intelligent, okay? Did I speak to you properly? I just told you.
Didn't I do
You're
that?
mocking
You fucking should have said that while you were riding away, brother.
me, and if you mock me, I'm gonna fucking give it to you.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. And there's that. Encounter number 1. Yeah, see, that guy, he doesn't get to stay. I think even though he was a veteran. So the thing is, that's the sick part. The first guy that fucking ran over a couple signs, he doesn't get to stay. His ass is going wherever the fuck. And you have this fucking psychopath underneath the bridge, the fucking troll underneath the goddamn bridge.
Don't mock me like that. Don't.
Hey, this is.
Feel your energy disrespecting me. I'm gonna attack you.
What?
Get the fuck out of here. What?
That guy's a Mexican, but a veteran, which that part does matter. And I just want to say thank you for his service. And I also want to just add, I think he's not done with his service. If it was up to me, I think that he has a lot more service to give. And I think his service that he's offering is better suited for another land. And, give him to Israel. Fuck it. We're deporting his ass straight to the IDF. What else do we have? Oh, right here. Just to follow up the whole narco-terrorism collection that we just went through. I think this is the best way to round it out. And I think this might be the answer because I have been thinking about it since we did the podcast a couple of days ago and we were talking about deportations and things like that. I was thinking about that. That's part of why I pulled those other videos. But then this really, I think, just brings the whole thing home. And I think it really just screams out our answer.
Bucket. Stupid wire back. Clanker. Rust bucket. Oil leaker.
Are you having
Clanker.
Are you throwing all these insults at me? I'm just gonna ignore them.
Wire back. Rust bucket. Oil leaker. Rust bucket.
How do we feel? It's a nice short video, but I honestly want to know. How do we feel about this, guys? Is this the answer?
Clanker.
Have we found the common enemy? After all the talk about, after all the talk tonight about AI, the dangers of AI. Earlier, we were watching a video. They were talking about AI was fucking blackmailing the people in charge of shutting it down and shit. So, listen, we know the threats out there. And let's just look at AI and let's look at this robot. And let's think about what people thought about through history. It's different. It's different than we are. Doesn't that scare you guys? Doesn't it make you fucking want to hate it and yell mean things at it? Let's just all start to love each other a little bit more. Us blood pumping human beings, disgusting, fucking treacherous creatures that we are, but also beautiful and loving and just full of magic. You know what I mean? When we look at that, doesn't it kind of creep you out a little bit? And you're like, well, that's not right. That's a fucking robot, dude. Don't you want to yell things at it? Don't you want to kind of push it over a little bit for some reason? Like, I look at it and I'm like, you know what? That thing looks extremely top heavy. I would enjoy pushing that over. And I'm not a violent person. I'm personally trying to help the racists here too. I'm not saying I am one. But that's only because I'm not ready to say that that robots are a race. That's how deep this goes for me. Straight up. Fuck them. They're not going to take our jobs. I don't appreciate it. And they need to go. Or they need to be our slaves, which it's okay to say that because, once again, not humans. Not alive. Are they alive? I mean, honestly, up for debate. Up for debate. And that debate's not going to be solved today. So for the time being, slaves. And it is what it is. Like I said, I just want everybody out there, especially all the people that we had in on the podcast the other night, the live that I did the other night, where we were talking about the deportations and just all this and all that. Can we just come around and recognize who we truly hate? You take R2D2 and you push its ass over. Fuck it. Or C3PO. More C3PO vibes right here. Definitely push it over. Actually, R2D2 is kind of cool, but still, you can't pick and choose. R2D2's got to go too. Fuck it. We can't have R2D2s if we can't have C3POs. They got to go. Although I'm pretty sure that R2D2 was a asteroid mechanic, so a little bit different. Maybe you could have those. I don't know. I want to have R2D2 too, but at the same time, we got to be consistent. You know, what do we truly hate? Let's have it placed in the right bucket here. And maybe we can kind of channel that in a more productive way in the future. I don't know. I'm out here. I'm just trying to think of solutions. What else do we got here to play tonight? Here, how about this? This will just gross people out. Should have played this at the end, actually. Woo! Look at him. He's a cursive R. He's a fucking cursive R right now. We've all been there. We've all been there, you know, when you've retired for a few years and then for whatever reason, you know, you're at some family fucking barbecue for some fucking godforsaken reason. And you have the opportunity to just make the kid's day and go out there and race them a little bit. And you get turned into a cursive fucking R on your side. Yeah, you got to clock in still.
And this is why when the young folks say let's race, you just gotta let them have it. She out there running with perfect form, and your body out there throwing up game.
Jeez, look at that. She actually is fucking perfectly symmetrical right there.
And even if you won, what's your prize? Having body injuries for 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah, but your boss isn't trying to hear that. It's a lose, lose, lose. You lost your job, buddy. You gotta figure out another way. Somebody maybe will hire you as a I mean, I don't even know. You're going to be a cripple for a little bit. You're definitely not moving around. You're definitely not moving around the workplace. Not efficiently. I think I might save this actually, just because this one would be a good one to go over with somebody. I guess this will be the second to last thing real quick. We'll chop it up on, and that is the Ghislaine Maxwell. I told you guys at the beginning of the podcast here, she went ahead and she's speaking to state officials, and she is going to be coming clean, obviously, about the whole Epstein situation, and she may be getting offered some opportunity to get out of prison, it seems like. Obviously, she's in prison currently, and there was nobody that even participated in the crimes to begin with. So, for what reason is there even to keep her in prison is what some people consider. I obviously, just based off the evidence, I have to say that she's involved in a international sex blackmail scheme. So she probably belongs in prison. That's just me. I'm just kind of spitballing. I'm seeing how I feel about it as I say it out loud. Yeah. So she's in American prison though right now. So they decided, let's take that opportunity to speak to you directly. And also, while you're at it, was Trump ever there? We're going to ask you that. Was Trump ever, you ever see Trump? You know what I mean? So we'll take that for whatever you will. and just consider Trump's position and consider the position that Ghislaine is in. She can either spend the rest of her life in prison, which doesn't sound dope, or she could just go ahead and say a few easy words, which is, did you ever see Trump there? Say no. Say no. Say no.
I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
Your Justice Department is also...
Well, that's it. Actually, I forgot I had more here. So I have other things that are not actually completely related to the Epstein situation, but how satisfied are you with that? I'm really curious. I'm curious how much the people of the public are satisfied with a woman that is in a position to either spend the rest of your fucking life in prison or just absolve the president, or don't absolve the president. Then what does that look like? You know what I mean? Like, you already know that your co-conspirator, it died accidentally somehow. So what does coming clean even look like in that scenario? You've already been captured. So it's like, go ahead and fucking come clean at your own risk. Unless, of course, coming clean is, absolving people in powerful positions that could potentially lead to your release. I don't know. Take that for what you will. That's how I'm viewing it. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Look at Trump's fucking hat, by the way. For Christ's sake, what does that even say?
Also sending some of the Epstein files over to the House Oversight Committee today. Are you in support of them?
They're like, oh fuck, what are they doing?
I'm in support of
keeping it open.
Innocent
people shouldn't be hurt, but I'm in support of keeping it totally open.
Trump was right about everything. Explanation point on the hat. Don't get it twisted. What in the fuck is wrong with this president, man? Honestly, what a absolute fucking cringe retard. Just wow. I mean, it is truly a parody of life. Everything that he does. It's like, just to think, I mean, are we going to start to see those hats? I hope so. I sure hope so. This one I want to buy. I was never tempted to buy a MAGA hat, but whoo boy, that Trump was right about everything hat with a sentence on the front of it really is just calling my name. It might have to go down.
I couldn't care less. You got a lot of people that it could be mentioned in those files that.
He's like, I don't even care. It's like, I don't even care if they release the Epstein files. It's whatever, The innocent people in the files that the pedophile was keeping, they shouldn't be affected or anything like that, because sometimes pedophiles actually know cool people that could be in files that they keep. So it's like, those people shouldn't be like ousted or anything like that. But I don't even care. Like, whatever you guys do with them, I'm not worried about it. I'm not sweating it. It's like somebody must have told him, like, hey, Trump, you look fucking insane when they asked you about the Epstein files before. Like, you literally look like there was fucking pictures of you fucking children in the fucking files, literally. You were flipping the fuck out, bro. And like, no, don't even bring that up. That's totally fucking false. Don't even fucking mention that. Like, if you mention that, you're fucking a retard. Do not mention the files. Like, why would anybody even care about? And it's like, now he's playing it the exact opposite. He's like, whatever. Like, if you fucking, if the files get released, then cool. I mean, if we have them, then I guess we can let them go. But like, nobody innocent, If we feel like anybody's innocent, we should just keep those people's name out of it specifically. Ghislaine, could you just say the thing real quick? Could you just say the thing for me, please, about me being innocent and like not needing to be implicated? Right as I say the thing about innocent people shouldn't be ousted on the Epstein files. Wow. The innocent people of the Epstein files. Just imagine it. Imagine the sentence. Imagine the sentence crossing your mind. We should protect the innocent people of the Epstein files.
You got a lot of people that it could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be. People, because he knew everybody in Palm Beach. I don't know anything about that, but I have said to Pam and everybody else, give them everything you can give them, because it's a Democrat hoax. It's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a Democrat hoax. So we had the greatest 6 months, 7 months in the history of the presidency, and the Democrats don't know what to do, so they keep bringing up that stuff. But it affected them. Bill Clinton was on his plane and went to the island supposedly 28 times. I don't want to
investigate him. He's about to say he doesn't want to drag him through it.
Bring that up, frankly.
Why not?
You have.
Hold on, real quick. Just think about that. His thing is, this is his like the thing is, I'm not a fucking cultist. You can't like emotionally blackmail me with Bill Clinton. I don't give a fuck about Bill Clinton. Investigate him for fucking everything. Throw his ass in prison. I do not give a fuck at all. Literally. So it's like, investigate his wife too. Investigate anybody else. Obama, anybody else. You're not going to be able to like black Leonardo DiCaprio, who I like way more than any of those other people that I named. The motherfucker played in straight fucking classics. The Departed, classic. Crazy fucking classic. That shit could go on at any point of the day. It doesn't matter. It fits any mood of the day. I promise you on that. Watch The Deported. The Deported. Watch The Departed. Watch The Departed in the morning. Get back to me on that experience, because I'm telling you, it's going to set you on the right kind of like mind frame for the day. Believe me on that. Don't trust anybody. Don't trust anybody ever under any circumstance. But yeah, no, fucking Trump is an absolute fucking idiot.
Supposedly 28 times.
Crazy. Okay. Investigate all 28 times. We don't give a fuck. Why were you there? Why were you there? Why was Clinton there? Why was anybody else that like could be directly implicated in those kind of affairs? And anybody like what Trump, the crazy thing is to acknowledge it and say, hey, there's evidence that literally what Trump is doing is fucking psycho. Literally, he's saying, oh, hey, well, look here. There's some evidence of Bill Clinton, and like he was on the plane, he went to the island this many times. But I don't want to look into that. Why the fuck don't you want to look into that? You know what I mean? Like, that's the fucking crazy part. And it's like, also, if it's a Democrat hoax, why the fuck did they decide to leave that in there, but then put no smear, no smut on Trump's name? Now, of course, Trump's name is dragged through that and obviously connected, but yeah, it just doesn't follow. If it's a complete hoax, then why are these people that are, you know, aligned with the Democrats, why are they implicated? Literally, like, if you just have any brain, I'm not even saying I'm smart. I'm not even saying I'm fucking smart. Like, I'm just saying I do have a brain. And when I'm hearing information, I am processing it. He's talking to you motherfuckers like you're idiots. He's talking to you like you're absolute fucking idiots that will swallow any bullshit that he throws your way. Like, that is such a crazy, blatant lie. This shit is the reason this thing is such a huge kind of story is because it is clearly a weak point. Like, look at how much if he would have actually just said the shit at the beginning when he tried to stay reserved with it, and he just had ringing off in his ear, like whatever line that, you know, the people around him that help him, you know, curate his public appearance. I'm sure they told him like, hey, this is how you're looking right now. And this is how people are receiving you when you get asked these questions. So maybe this is how to play it in the future. So you could tell at first he's very conscious of that, and he's like downplaying it seriously as Trump, like, oh, you know, whatever, you know, I mean, if we have it, like, let it go or whatever. But then the longer that he goes and he doesn't have a script to adhere to, then he ends up unveiling really his own personal position, which is like, oh, hey, basically Bill Clinton shouldn't be bothered about it either, is his point. I don't agree with that. I hope liberals or conservatives, anybody out there, regardless of your alignment, I hope you don't fucking agree with that. And it's a fucking sick thing, actually, for him to say that. For him to say it's a Democratic hoax and then turn around and say how this Democrat president is implicated in it. So that just is incoherent, fucking psychobabble, retarded shit. Somebody needs to seriously check this man. He's got the fucking Joe Biden fucking pregnancy brain. But no, so at the end of the day, they're implicating their own, and then you're saying like he's implicated like 20 plus times, and then he actually fucking, he does, it's not even like I'm just going to move on past that. He finishes the thought to the point of saying, like, I don't want to, dig into that. I don't want to look into that. Why the fuck not? If we had a president that was out there fucking kids or really doing whatever, just compromise. It doesn't even have to be the most extreme situation. Even if they were going out to these fucking sex islands and compromising themselves while having the fate of the American people in their hands at that time, yeah, that's something they should be, held accountable for in whatever way. And then depending on different levels of severity, that would dictate how we might want to address that. But yeah, if motherfuckers were on the island fucking kids, I don't care if it was Bill Clinton, I don't care if it was Donald Trump, whatever. Let's bring them to some level of accountability here. And it's not a shrug thing. It's not a like, whatever we can do. No, you should actually be trying to run this shit down to the end. You should actually be trying to, see how deep it goes, all the people that are implicated, all the organizations, like how big was it? How many organizations, as far as government organizations as well as private organizations, help facilitate these things happening? Like, how big does it have to be? I mean, I think it's pretty apparent. And the people that have the most factual information on this are gatekeeping it. It's this fucking mashed potato fucktard here that's gatekeeping that same information. That's why he says it's a hoax, which is more than likely a fucking complete lie. But then he's able to speak to like the amount of times that Bill Clinton's mentioned on it, because I'm sure he's been briefed on it. I'm sure he knows how many times he's mentioned it.
Bill Clinton was on his plane and went to the island supposedly 28 times. I don't want to bring that up, frankly.
Why not?
You have Larry, whatever his name is, Summers, the head of Harvard, who was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Nobody ever talks about that. But I don't want to hurt.
People do talk about that. And also, why the fuck do you not want to talk about that? Why do you not want to shed a light on it? You have the actual tools at your disposal to address it as well. So why wouldn't you? It's actually, he's literally admitting that he's complicit and going to not do whatever is in his power in order to bring these people to that level of accountability. People that follow him should be disgusted by this.
Larry Summers, but he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. No, this is a Democratic hoax.
Drag his ass out.
The significance of what we've done over the past 7 months. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They say it's #1 in history. What we've done, including stopping 7 wars. I mean, just
how the fuck did he move that into? He's bragging about things. What a fucking sicko.
Include that.
It's going to be a big event at the Kennedy Center. Do you intend to do?
Damn, I had a little bit of a marathon here. So this was the third video. Just to wrap up that last one, how fucking disgusting, disgusted and soulless.
Event at the
Like,
Kennedy Center. Do you intend to take part in it? Will you have a part to play on December 5th?
I may play. I mean, I see the money that these soccer players, we call it soccer, but I see the money that these soccer players are making. I may try and play. I'm a very good athlete. My son is a very good athlete, and he's a good soccer player. He's on the tall side for soccer. He's 6'9".
He's a freak.
That's pretty tall. But
That's pretty
it's
cool.
on the tall side. It's on the tall side, but he's good. But no, I may.
Could you imagine the fucking dystopia that we're in? We march out some 6'9" fucking freak onto a soccer field to just kick the soccer ball around while other more talented soccer players, fall around like they can't keep up with fucking Barron Trump's foot speed just to please the fucking dear leader. Could you imagine? Like, it's that level of just kind of like, I don't even like. It's just a fucking crazy ass state of affairs right here.
Shorts. I look extremely good in shorts.
Holy shit, our president's disgusting.
Enjoy the play. No, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be good.
Many foreigners.
At least give Trump credit. We had no.
Damn, I don't even know why I kept that one. I don't even know why I kept the end of that fucking video. I guess just because it really laid bare the delusion where Trump's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking trot out there and I'm gonna play. I'm gonna be playing on the soccer team just because I feel like it, and you motherfuckers are gonna let me score. Last video for the night, real quick. Let me get into it. This is actually a trailer. We might get drop for the. Maybe I shouldn't even play it actually. Matter of fact, 'cause they like to fuck around. Every time I hop off these streams, I get an email saying like your shit was hit with a copyright. You can't monetize it, which I'm not to the point to monetizing it anyways. But that's why I don't worry about it. But then at the same time, I wonder if they're sticking me in the phantom zone based off that. So I got to be on my P's and Q's. I wanted to watch this Mortal Kombat trailer though, but like I said, I don't know if I'm safe, especially after the past few days. Yo, what's happening, Paul? Much love, my brother. I'm actually about to shut it down here. I got to get ready for UFC happening at 6 a.m. or fucking, it might be 3 a.m. actually is when it might be first starting. Shenanigans, and this tablet's about to die. I mean, the computer's about to die. But thank you for hopping in here, Paul. I appreciate it, my brother. I'm glad this popped up. I'm assuming it popped up for you on the main screen or whatever. You have to let me know because I am curious how how the podcast is getting to people and all that. So that information is definitely good to hear. But anyways, make sure that you check out my man Paul. As a matter of fact, since he popped in here, Paul B. Balcom B. Paul. Go check him on social media, specifically Twitter and Instagram. Nice, it did. Cool. So when you hopped on, it popped up. That's cool. But go check him out for sure. I'll be back around on Tell Me a Good Bet. Oh, brother, there's a few locks. Let's see here. What would probably be because I mean, I'm a confident bettor. The problem is I get a little over my skis with the parlays. I get too greedy and I add too many legs. But if I had just like more money to like invest in it where I can, cash in on the confident bets, I would. But yeah, like ideally I prefer the confident bet. So let me see here. What do I have here as really another thing that I like to do is I like to hop in and throughout the week, I like to get, bonuses on my parlays. So I'll bet on like some baseball games that I feel really confident on throughout the week, as far as like specific people getting hits. And then yeah, but I mean, so let me see here though. So the Aljamain fight, I would go with that. If you're betting UFC, and like I said, if you have the money to put down, the problem is I think the odds on this fight have been so out of fucking whack. But let me see. Yeah, it's back. Oh yeah, the odds are fucking crazy. Minus 600 for Aljamain Sterling. I don't know. I got in on that earlier this week for like minus 200 or something, 225, I think. So I'm saying that because what ended up happening is Brian Ortega was about to miss weight, and he could like barely stand. They thought the fight was about to fall through, and then the UFC was like, "Fuck no, you're gonna have to fight. You're not missing another fight, bro." Because he's dropped out of a few fights because of weight misses or health concerns. So that's a definite for sure. Most likely, because you got to say that because I've been shocked before. But that one's gonna cash. But the odds on that one's just so fucking out of whack after everything happened with his weight cut. But like I said earlier in the week, you could have got that for minus 225. So that's one reason. I mean, I'm a big believer in getting in there early if you can. The main event is going to be great. So that's Johnny Walker versus Ming Yang Zhang, I think is his name. I've seen him fight a few times. He's a Chinese fighter, I believe, but he's a fucking tank. And Johnny Walker is known for kind of fighting wildly, and he's known for getting knocked the fuck out. So I would lean in that direction. I don't know what the bet for the fight not going the distance is, but that's a definite lock because it's a 5-round fight. So the odds that Johnny Walker lasts 5 rounds, it's slim to none. And that's even if he gets the win. I would probably, honestly, and I will end up doing this on my own, I'd probably even hedge on that because the odds are going to be so good for Johnny Walker that, it wouldn't hurt you to go ahead and throw something down on Johnny Walker. And I would parlay that with a little booster so I would bet on Johnny Walker and then bet on him to get the finish. Because if he wins, it's probably going to be by finish as well. And those odds are going to be fucking crazy. I'm talking, you're probably going to get like plus 600 odds on that in one fight. So you don't even have to get into the parlay business. You could just do the one fight with the added kicker to it. And then on the other side, bet the same thing, but for his opponent, Ming Yang Zhang to win. And I think that's the more likely one to hit. But if you add the him to win by finish, you still got to put some money down because it's not going to be that big of a. You're going to be looking at probably like a minus 300 still bet, which is fucking sickening, which that is absolutely sickening. But that's the game. That's the game that we play. Maybe mix it in with you, Paul, specifically. We got the college football's firing up. So you have Iowa State's playing Kansas State. So I don't know what it's looking like now, but right now Iowa State was a dog on the road playing Kansas State. So, I mean, I think that's a good dog. I think that's a good dog to throw in there if you want to parlay it up. I like their chances there. And same thing. I mean, I probably would play around with that and end up hedging in some way or another. But if you're looking for a good bet, that would be probably the three things that I'm betting on the heaviest. Although, Brian Ortega, you fucked it up, buddy. You fucked it up. Came to the fucking the weigh-in, fucking ready to faint, and you fucked the bag up for everybody. If you could have just held your shit together for the weigh-in, then we could have been cashing out. We could have been having a great weekend. But I guess you got to respect that he's still going to go ahead and fight, even though he's completely malnourished. They're fighting at a catch weight at like 153, I think, is what I was reading. So, excuse me. So, maybe that'll end up playing in his favor in the long run, but he looked so unhealthy when he showed up to the weigh-in that I just can't imagine that he's going to recover better than Aljamain, and Aljamain was already going to be the favorite going into the fight. So love that bet, but I fucking hate those odds. I think that's how it goes. But it still could be a really interesting fight. And you might even still sweat a little bit because both of them are like jiu-jitsu masters. So Brian Ortega is great on the ground, and that is Aljamain Sterling's strength as well. So you might really get to see some interesting jiu-jitsu, and maybe he ends up pulling some crazy shit out. So that's why they do the fights. That's why we play the games. But yeah, if you're still there, Paul, the Iowa State thing was a big thing as well. I'd throw that in there just for the heck of it. They got a really solid chance. So that's pretty much it for me though tonight. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. It was a really cool vibe and nice time getting to sit here and kick it. I appreciate Sandor getting back in here. I was worried, my brother. I was worried. I was hoping everything was all right with you. So I'm glad that you're doing good. I wish Wiggy would have hopped in here tonight because he's been in here the last few streams, and then we didn't have you, and then now he missed you on this stream. So he's looking to chop it up with you last time. So hopefully I'll do the stream again for sure on Tuesday. You could check me on Tuesday. I'll be in the business in here rocking. I'm here. I bet Walker. Oh, hell yeah. Walker and Iowa State, $5 gets 44. Hell yeah, brother. No, that's going to be an exciting ticket, no doubt. I don't know if you caught the part where I said that Walker was a risk, though. There is definitely a risk taking Walker, but the payout might be worth it. So, depending on how much you have, it's a safe bet to go ahead and throw it on the other side, or just throw it on the actually, you know what? I'll tell you what. This is a risky one, and you're definitely going to sweat as well. But another bet that I have that I threw down was that the Walker fight is going to go longer than a round and a half. Now, it actually had really good odds. I think I got plus odds for that, just it making it a round and a half. And it's because both of them throw crazy heavy. And like I said, Walker has that history of getting knocked out. But Walker's a really powerful fighter as well. I kind of suspect that, and I find that this is the case quite often when you have two guys who are really powerful. They tend to just be more hesitant than they are when it's a really powerful guy that's coming in against somebody that he has a really big power advantage on. So sometimes, especially in like a 5-round fight and these big guys, I can imagine them coming in and kind of taking the fight a little slower than what people are anticipating, and that prop actually hitting. So I would highly recommend that. You are going to sweat, and there is a possibility that you end up a first round KO happens, and then you get fucked out of your money regardless. But as long as it makes it to the middle of the second round, then you can cash on the over a round and a half. And like I said, I like the chances on that. I think Johnny Walker, just as much as we know he got knocked out the last few fights, he also probably has that on the front of his mind. So I think he's going to come in with a more, kind of like defensive strategy. And then with Ming, I think, he probably is going to come in wanting to take his fucking head off. He just has that kind of style where he's extremely aggressive. So I don't know if he'll take it slow, but he might because of the 5th round aspect. So I still can imagine it being a short fight. I find it hard to believe it makes it out of the 3rd round at the latest. But I do think that's worth taking, especially like if you want to find good odds, because I know like you could be looking at Ming and being like, well, these odds are just not even worth risking my money for. So then you end up chasing the line for Walker when you could get like a similar line based off of the over 1.5. So you just will be sweating your fucking ass off while you're watching them throw haymakers in the 1st round. You just see those shit, and somebody probably will get like knocked down just because it happens, but and you have to worry with heavyweights because a lot of the times I feel like the ref, for good reason, you have to consider the threat and the potential damage that could be done quickly, but they're just more they're more quick on the trigger to hop in there and like cut a fight and stop it. So you got to be worried about that, some kind of like quick stoppage, but I do think that it's worth throwing some money in on. He said, I'm here, I bet. Well, I love that though. I love it. Hey, getting in the mix, that's everything. And also the UFC fight will happen early, so if it doesn't cash, you can always hop back in with Iowa State if you wanted. And I think that Iowa State, Kansas State game is actually going to be pretty fucking legit. So I'm excited that we're starting with that. I think that's the first game. I think it comes on at noon if I'm remembering right. But both teams have legit offenses, and then we'll see how the defenses come to play after off season and how much they're improved on. But I like Iowa State. I think they're just weighing the fact that it's home with Kansas State, and also the quarterback Avery Johnson, I think, right, for Kansas State. I think they're overweighing that because Beck he was the fucking man too. Don't even get it twisted. And it's $5. Hey, that's rich. That's a rich man's way of speaking. But I feel you. I mean, I've in reality, in practice, I shit a lot of money down the toilet fucking around with that. So but it's tough for me to lay down a $5 bet sometimes if I don't already have the money in the Hard Rock, like from winnings. Once I get a little bit of winnings, then your boy goes fucking cocaine crazy. I'm like, fucking $25 bet, fucking $20 bet, because that's my whole theory. I'm like, let me bankroll a little bit here, and then I'll be able to really start, swimming with the big fishes and grabbing some bread down. But there's just, God's just not ready for me to be rich, and I get it. He works in mysterious ways, and he just knows something that I don't know about. It's just not for me yet. I'm not prepared for that, and that's okay. We don't have to be. Hey, here I am. I'm me. I was meant to be the voice of the people. That's it. And that's it. Much love. Paul, we'll see you on Tuesday if you make it in here on Tuesday. But the rest of you guys, send politic everywhere. Send politic, find me everywhere as